Bowman, that starts with B. He starts from the pole. Josh Berry with a B. He's been to victory lane. Ryan Blaney has been competitive, looking for victory lane, which William Byron found in the Daytona 500. Now, our last 7 mile-and-a-half oval races have all seen different winners. And this mile-and-a-half has seen 9 different winners in its last 9 races. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast booth. One of those 9 races, to my immediate left, Kevin Harvick won a championship here at Homestead Miami Speedway. So we've talked a lot about how everybody wants to ride the wall if they can. What is the risk versus reward ratio of doing that?
Well, I've been telling you guys, you have to take some risk here, and I think you can get away with some of that with this car. It's a little bit tougher than the previous generation cars, but there is a line that's too far to cross and break a toe link or knock a fender off the thing, and then that puts you in a really bad spot. But today, you're going to have to take a risk because Kyle Larson is going to. He's going to ride right next to the wall. Tyler Reddick, some of these guys are really good at it, Clint.
Well, you took my 2 drivers. Those guys, we have road course ringers in this sport. We have wall riding ringers, and those 2 do it better than the rest. But this track is extremely challenging. To be able to ride within an inch of the wall for 267 laps, I'll tell you how hard it is. The best guy to do it, Kyle Larson's led 600 laps, over 600 laps here. Been here 11 times and is only on 1 race. That's how hard it is.
Larson was going for the three-peat this weekend. He won the truck race Friday night on a late restart yesterday. He got jacked up, and it's hard to accelerate when your rear wheels are not on the ground. Long runs. Are we going to see that today, and how is that going to affect what happens? We haven't had green flag pit stops all year.
Yeah,
believe it.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some green flag pit stops, and with the way that this racetrack is and the way that the tires are wearing out, the sun is out today, we could see some varying strategies as we get towards the end of this as to what's faster with multiple pit stops. But the tires are going to wear out. The cars are going to slide around. They're not going to go through traffic well. There's nothing that's going to be too much fun other than if you have the fastest car.
Well, that fastest car can be beat. Just talked about Larson, saw it last weekend. He led the most laps, did not win the race. Caution came out at the wrong time. They never got the track position back, never saw him again for the rest of the race. That can happen, just like it did yesterday in that Xfinity race for him. It can happen to Larson. That's how you beat these guys.
Well, that'll spread things out. I mean, you can't beat yourself.
You can't beat yourself, but all year we've seen these guys beat themselves on pit road
our drivers
or
are always
or
against
whatever
each
the
other.
case
That's really
is.
it,
So
'cause Briscoe's
don't
never
beat
a
yourself
factor.
today, and you'll have a chance to win this race.
37 drivers at the ready on a beautiful day here in South Florida to go racing. Big crowd, long line of cars waiting to get in here earlier. We're ready to go. Let's go trackside.
Homestead Miami Speedway. Give a big NASCAR welcome to Bradley Chubb. He's a 2-time NFL Pro Bowler and an outside linebacker for your Miami Dolphins. And he's ready to say the most famous words in motorsports. Take it away, Bradley.
Miami, are y'all ready? I said, Miami, are y'all ready? Drivers, start your engines.
God, that ream scheme sucks.
37 engines roar to life as these drivers get set to
He has an
tackle
NASCAR
the
hard card.
progressive banked mile-and-a-half oval.
This weekend, the
I
NASCAR
thought
Cup
he had a
Series
hard
is
card.
hitting the sun-soaked track at Homestead Miami Speedway. This 1.5-mile track offers a thrilling atmosphere with roaring engines, pit crews hustling, and race fans on the edge of their seats. Homestead's unique blend of high-speed straightaways and challenging turns is a true test of
Last
driver
year's race
skill,
was
precision, and the team
something.
strategies. High bank turns create opportunities for thrilling passes, while the long straightaways lead to a fierce battle for position. As the night falls, the electrifying atmosphere captivates fans, and strategies evolve rapidly, making every decision critical. Homestead's asphalt rapidly wears down tires, making tire management crucial. Drivers must balance speed with conservation, especially during extended runs, while understanding tire conditions to maintain traction and performance. As the race progresses, the track changes due to weather, temperature, and rubber buildup from the race. Drivers will
They
also
talk-
get
it's like
within
more or less for, like,
millimeters of the
casual
wall
fans.
as they use it to
Like, they
gain
kinda
speed
just
before
explain
entering
how
the turns.
Homestead is.
Here's what Kyle Larson had to say about running along the wall in the next gen car.
To me, I think it's a lot easier to run the wall with this new car. It's tougher for one, a lot tougher, so you can actually, rub the wall and scrape the wall and be just fine. Where, the old style cars, if you barely scrape the wall, you're probably gonna get a flat tire. So
Last year, this was a race that
Yeah.
determined the Champ 4 for the playoffs. Tyler Reddick made a clutch pass out of turn 4 to
Because
take the
Blaney
lead
was
from
stupid
Ryan
and it
Blaney.
blocked the outside. I don't know why he didn't. Still don't understand.
Who
it,
will
but
be today's
yeah, I got our
victor?
driver
The
win,
drivers are
so.
about to roll out and the race will be underway shortly.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Straight Talk Wireless 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. There's the Miami skyline. We're about 35 miles to the south alongside Homestead Air Force Base. As Alex Bowman leads them off pit
All right,
road,
we are rolling.
37 strong as we get ready to roll here.
I forgot. Briscoe had a really good qualifying.
All right, let's get a word with our pole sitter before he rolls off at speed here.
Let's do it, guys. Alex Bowman, it's Boyer and the boys up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
It's going great. Even better for you. They call you the showman. You stole the show yesterday in qualifying right at the end of qualifying. Sets you up for a great day today. How do you keep this 48 up front and out of the fence?
Yeah, for sure. That's easier said than done. This is a tricky place. You can make a lot of speed through the middle early in the run, but we all kind of seen at the end of the run, you got to run the fence. So yesterday I felt like we were really good for 15 or so, and then just struggled to be able to make speed against the wall. I was quite a bit too tight, so hopefully Blake and the guys on this Ally 48 have made the right adjustments to be there on the long run today.
Barry's got momentum.
All right, buddy. Thanks for the time. Good luck out there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's take a look at the Straight Talk Wireless starting grid for today's race. Bowman from Tucson, Arizona, has his 9th Cup Series pole and his first at Miami. He's in a Hendrick Chevrolet. In the Wood Brothers Ford, starting right alongside from Hendersonville, Tennessee, last week's winner, Josh Berry, ties his best career start.
Well, let's get a word with him. Josh Berry, Kevin, and the guys up in the Fox booth. You got that car to victory lane last week for the Wood Brothers on the front row again today. What's the risk versus reward for you today? What's the plan, buddy?
Yeah, no, I feel like we have a solid car. Obviously, want to take care of it. Yeah, just ride the momentum that we've built over the last few weeks. Be smart, execute, do all the little things right. Never know we can find ourselves in the
Bubba had
position
a
again.
faster
So
car
just
than we
everybody
did
on this
for some
21 team's
reason.
been doing a great job. So thank you to Dex Imaging and Ford. And
But we
we're gonna
did
have
have
fun
the
today.
fastest.
All right,
30
man.
lap
Well, good luck
average,
ripping the
so
fence today. Have a
see how
good
that
time.
goes.
Good luck.
Thank you, man.
Now, row number 2, Noah Gregson was the 5th driver to qualify, and he had the pole until Bowman and Berry caught a cloud late. He'll start 3rd. Chase Briscoe
starting
has wins here in the Trucks and the Xfinity Series. He'll start 4th.
20th?
Row number
Or I thought
3,
it was
Willie
like
B.
TV.
William Byron, and on his outside, the number 12, Ryan Blaney. Row number 4,
God, Denny's picture
John
looks
Hunter
so
Nemechek.
cursed.
Great start
You
to
can
the
tell
day
it
for
was
him, and
taken
Austin
after
Cindric on his
today.
outside.
Row number 5, we've got Bubba Wallace, who was fast in practice, and a guy who's always pretty good here in this Gen 7 car, AJ Allmendinger. Row 6, we've got Chris Buescher, always solid, and Joey Logano, who won here in 2018.
Row 7,
you're
Ty
right.
Gibbs was fast in practice, and there is Kyle Larson, the 2022 winner here. Regan Smith.
Well, Mike, we've talked all about it all day today, risk versus reward. We all know Kyle Larson is going to take the risk every single time. Sometimes that reward pays off. Unfortunately, here it's only paid off once, as you just mentioned, in 2022. I asked crew chief Cliff Daniels, what is the message to your team when your driver comes to a track that we know he is so very good at? He said the message is simple today. We still have to earn it. We have to do everything right on pit road. We have to make the right calls. We have to put Kyle in the position to where he can use his talent, run it up against that wall. Keep an eye on that 5-car today. He's going to be fun to watch.
Hits the pit barrels again,
Row
or
number
he
8,
spins
Carson
himself.
Hocevar in a 77, and on his outside, Christopher Bell. Keep an eye on him.
Row 9, we've got Zane Smith and a guy who has top 10s in the last 3 races, Chase Elliott.
In the 10th row, Riley Herbst makes his first Cup start at Miami, and Tyler Reddick, last year's winner. Here's Jamie Little.
Always in the Chumpa Casino car.
We come to one of the best racetracks for Tyler Reddick. Not only did he win both of his Xfinity Series championships right here by winning the race, as you mentioned, last year in October, he had the move of the race. He ended up winning on the last lap, getting his first Cup win here at Miami. Now, no doubt he is going to be a threat again today. Car was very good, very similar setup as in October. But the team told me in qualifying, he got a little aggressive. That risk versus reward you're talking about got into that outside fence. He'll start 20th, so keep your eye on that 45. I think we're going to have a show today between him and Kyle Larson, Mike.
Boy, what a finish that was here last year, with 3 different drivers leading the final 3 laps. Now, let's check with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, Mike, this is a fast mile-and-a-half track that has little to no grip. These cars will be sliding around from green flag to checkered. Even the driver leading the race, his car will be driving far from perfect. Crew chiefs will be making adjustments on that chassis every single trip to pit road. Let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car. Let's show you some of the adjustments they'll be making. It has to do with wedge in the rear of the car. You can adjust it left rear or right rear, but on the right rear, when you screw down, you're taking wedge out. That's if the car is tight. When you back it off, you're putting wedge in. That's if it's loose. Let's go underneath the car and show you exactly what's going on when you're screwing on that wedge wrench. You see the canister. It has a plunger inside. You screw jet down, it pushes that shock off, compresses the spring, wedge out if it's tight. When you back it off, you pull that shock all back out. That's when, if the car's loose, you're putting wedge in. You can make those adjustments on the left rear or the right rear, guys, but it's a constant balance not to have the car too tight, not turning, but not too loose at this track.
Well, Larry, you said balance, and that's the key to this racetrack, keeping a neutral balance on that race car. All the cars are going to feel loose. It's hot, slick, old surface. We know that story. But if you tighten that thing up and go over the line and you have those front tires not turning, you're in trouble, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a tough racetrack as we look at the weather right here. It's an absolutely perfect day today, 78 degrees, light winds. We've got some clouds in and out. That'll be that. If those clouds go away and that sun comes out, that could put some confusion into these guys with what they're feeling in their cars.
3 stages, of course, 80, 85, and 102 laps. 45 miles an hour is pit road speed. And the fuel window, 66 to 70. Let's get back to Larry and talk race strategy here.
Yeah, this is our straight talk wireless race strategy. Manage your tires. Get all you can when they're new, but don't abuse them early. Don't jump the cushion. You have to run the walls. The guys talked about it the entire pre-race, but it's so easy to get in that wall and damage your race car. You need to be good on the long run. It's a delicate balance between short run speed and long run speed, but we know this race normally has some long green flag runs.
Teams have 9 new sets of tires, and there's qualifying scuffs. That's 1 more set than last week to work with. Here's some radio from Bubba Wallace.
All right, boys, great job yesterday. Really good car. Looking forward to today. Long run on tires. Attack when we need to, manage when we need to. Make sure we take care of it up on the wall. We'll see it all the way through to stage 3 this week. Look forward to the end of the race here. Yeah, 2-4 sounds good.
We've got 5 drivers we'll be riding along with on today's FS1 coverage. Here is William Byron. His Valvoline Chevrolet will have the rear spoiler cam looking forward there. You'll get some up-close shots of that outside wall. And here is Austin Cindric, the Ford Performance Cam, with a 360-degree view of Austin at work. 54 will be the Toyota Cam. On board Ty Gibbs, and that's the front bumper cam you're looking at on the right of your screen.
We have got a lot better weekend for him this starting off
still
here.
on
Keep an eye on Ty Gibbs.
And coming off a third place finish last week, Ryan Preece, the Build
All right, pace cars off,
Submarines.com.
gentlemen.
Camera on board his number 60 and his boss, Brad Keselowski. The next Lizette.
We're going green. Why are
Cam
we
with a
still on
spoiler
here?
cam as well on his number 6. Here comes the field to the starting line, and
Green flag.
Alex Bowman gets out front as we're underway in Homestead.
Yeah, and we've seen that all weekend. That
Oh.
bottom lane
Oh,
just fires
here we
off
go.
better than the out lane. It's a lot easier for those guys to get grip on those rear tires taking off.
We're off to the races. Blaney on the outside, 3 wide of Briscoe
Already got
already.
like 4 wide going on right now.
A few more rows 3 wide. Here we go.
You broke off right there, and I thought you were getting ready to call a horse race. I was getting excited.
These guys are excited. Look at the lanes, the 3 different distinct lines of this racetrack. They're all over the place already.
Oh, spinner almost. One car lost control, slipped to the back of the field. However, we are able
We're like
to
5
continue,
wide
and that
back
was the
there.
41
Good
of Cole
Lord.
Custer.
Last.
And that immediately jams everything up, and you see all the lanes that these guys can choose from, especially in turns 1 and 2. You can do the same thing down in turns 3 and 4, but the end result is going to be up against the fence to be fast in this corner down here.
Tire management. You cannot stress it enough, and it starts right here. Get this thing sorted out. Try to get to track position, because obviously this is the best chance to do it when everybody's bunched up. But be easy on those tires.
And that's so hard because you have to keep your track position in order to be where you want to be with this car. So you have to abuse the car enough to be able to try to defend yourself and put yourself in that position. And really what that means is don't slide the back of the car. Don't slide the front of the car. More the back than the front.
Guess who's last?
Because
Vin
every time you
Gisbergen.
slide the back of that car, it's just taking life away from the tire.
Remember, this track has progressive banking. The top groove is the steepest. The bottom groove is the shortest, but the shallowest. It should all even out by the time you get to the end of the corner. Sometimes it does, but often that top groove is the fast groove.
Well, that presents the problem, Mike, and I'm glad you said that. You can't just drive through them. Once they're locked on that wall, you get to them. We've seen it with Larson, saw it yesterday in the Xfinity race. Eventually, you got to do a slide job or do something to move out of that preferred groove on the outside.
Well, and we see Kyle Larson right here, and indubitably, he's the best guy up against the fence. He and Tyler Reddick, and that puts a lot of pressure on those guys in the rest of the field when they have to get up there against the fence and try to make the lap time that those guys make. And that's when we see guys get themselves in trouble that aren't as good at it as those two.
Well, clearly, we just witnessed a podcast word of yours, Kevin. There's no chance that your vocabulary owns that word, so impressive.
Indubitably. All right, Tyler Reddick went up to the top to pick up the 9 of Chase Elliott. Here is Elliott going after Kyle Larson and getting it done. Christopher Bell just ahead.
Well, you see the speed right there that Tyler Reddick had through the middle of the corner. As you see Ryan Blaney up into second place right there off the bottom. You got a lot of options, but I'm telling you guys, the more you run the bottom in 3 and 4, the life is coming off the tires. You have to keep that thing as high as possible, as much as possible, or you're going to fall off sooner.
Well, look at Kyle Larson. There's nobody that has more time on this racetrack, seat time, than him. In the truck
Here
race and the
comes Blaney.
Xfinity race, he's being easy on these tires. He's being very
Guy that
patient on
almost
the
won this
takeoff at the
race.
start of this race.
Nobody's
For
led
real.
more laps here than Kyle Larson. 626 of them in the Cup Series.
Let's run the
Leading
bottom.
laps, you might have a new leader
Let's
here
run the
getting
bottom.
into one, Blaine to the inside.
And that's exactly what you want to do. In my opinion, the best way to finish this pass is to get to that quarter panel in whatever the strong corner is of your car
Blaney's on a
and make
mission
that
now.
pass with
Blaney's
a
on a
slide job.
mission
You
to get
didn't
this
see
race for
Blaney finish
himself.
that pass, and that's what allows people to keep up and is a frustrating part of what happens today.
Now watch the 5, bottom of your screen. Watch the wall.
Oh.
Watch the contact.
Ah,
Boom!
well, we found it. We know that's already done with. Love this battle up front. Gonna have to be careful
That's
here
that
for
right in the
Blaney
wall,
because
who?
Barry is
That's that
coming
right
on
in the
the
wall,
outside.
who?
If that car
Get
gets
out
side
the
by
way.
side and you drag him down the straightaway, slow both of the leaders down, he might be able to do the old twofer, Kevin.
And if I'm sitting on the pit box, I want my driver to be aggressive, just like Kyle Larson is. I think you can get away with a lot of risk here, taking a lot of risk. This
All
car
4
is
of my
very durable
drivers
when
are
it
running.
runs up against the
Reddick's
wall
just
like
trying to
that.
get back in front. Whoa! As I speak about it, my bench
That was a little
driver and
close
my
for comfort
actual
there.
fantasy driver.
And here we are for the lead off turn number 4. Blaney trying again, but on the high side, Bowman with the edge.
Doesn't surprise me. Didn't see the speed out of this 12 car yesterday in practice, but certainly knows how to get around this place. All but had it won last year.
That's my fantasy driver.
So those 8
yeah.
laps, the first laps that Bowman has led on this speedway. Ryan Blaney goes to the front. Chevy Ford at the front. Only one driver had to start at the back. That was Eric Jones, who had damage to the underbody in practice yesterday. Coming around to complete lap number 9, Ryan Blaney out front in Homestead.
I want to go to this track so bad. Now guess what, gang? Ad-free racing, presented by Abu Dhabi Sports TV. Michael. Oh, I removed his access for him to join the server. Join in here, by the way. Yeah. So he cannot join in here. Is that key? Let's think of tokens. Y'all all dipped because it's Chewy. Like, dang, alright, me and Hunter wants to race it. Get him, Ty. Frank John. Oh. Hi, Chumpa Casino. Riley Herbst. What up, man?
Ryan Blaney leads the Straight Talk Wireless 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Josh Berry up to second spot ahead of pole sitter Alex Bowman.
Yeah, he has no access
Today's
to
aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Since 1925, the Goodyear blimp has been inspiring fans to keep looking up and keep driving forward. 14 complete. Blaney with a 1-second lead over Barry, Bowman, and Briscoe.
Screaming here is
and here's the 5 again. Close encounter with the outside wall.
Yeah. It's
Kyle hitting the wall.
He's working on finding out how thick that right rear quarter panel is, but he's put that thing to use this weekend, rubbing it up against the wall.
Second place, Bowman coming back after last week's winner, Josh Berry.
Well, we saw this a lot in the truck race on Friday night. We'd see guys get passed, and then they'd move around and find somewhere else on the racetrack, pass the guy back. About the time you thought that they were going to drive away from the car or truck that they were racing with, the other guy figures it out and makes it happen and gets back by the guy that just passed him.
So Ford, Chevy Ford, here's the first Toyota, Chase Briscoe in 4th place. Noah Gregson hanging tough in 5th.
Doing a good job keeping it up there. Keeping it out of the fence, keeping it at clean air.
There's Gregson.
Yeah, Gregson, we talked to him in the pre-race, and I always felt like he did a really good job on these types of racetracks where you have to run up against the wall. Always really good here. Hearing his story about coming down here for the Xfinity test spending 2 days and putting sides on the car and tails and kind of a trial and error thing, but he does a really good job running up against the wall. Regan?
Well, Kevin, you're right. He is very good against the wall, but one thing that team highlighted yesterday that they were a little bit concerned about was if he had to run off the wall. The car extremely loose when he was off the wall in practice. That was something they focused on for the race today to make sure they could make passes and complete passes.
Well, usually,
and Crew Chief Drew
people
Blickens
that pop in
represented.
here
It's
is
very
usually the
important
same
for us. We started up front for the first time all year. We can get a good read on clean air. So far, Noah has been quiet.
We have like the same 10 people driving. Us 5.
Ryan
DJ,
Blaney, our
Dawson.
new leader, talking
Sometimes
to the team
Chris,
this morning,
sometimes
they said
Drake.
one of their goals coming into the season was to qualify better on 1.5-mile tracks, and they did just that. Qualified
Also, they're
6th here
fishing. Makes
yesterday.
sense.
And Ryan told me
Makes
just
sense.
before he got in the car, he was really happy with it. Wasted no time making moves to get to the front. As soon as he took the lead, said he went from loose to building a little bit tight. But Mike, it's been a rough few weeks for this team, and they're ready to turn it
Sometimes
around.
Adam has. He's got a lead now of nearly 3 seconds. We've completed 18 laps, Larry, and I know you're keeping a close eye on how the lap times and tires fall off over a run here.
Yeah, Mike, we saw this in practice yesterday, and as Kevin said, the sun's out. This track has less grip today, I think, than yesterday. Almost 20 laps, a second and a half, second three quarters, closing in on 2 seconds of fall off. Now remember, the fuel window is around 65 laps. They should split this 80-lap stage in half, but I think they'll come early. I think you'll see them start hitting pit road around lap 30, which is about 10 or 12 laps from now.
Thanks, Larry. Briscoe close on Barry for 3rd place here. Gregson, Byron Cindric pretty well spread out behind them.
Yeah, and you still see all those lane choices. We expect everybody to migrate up against the wall, but unfortunately, that's great. But you got to find somewhere else to run. You have to have a versatile car on this racetrack in order to make your way through traffic. And as these tires get old, being able to move around the racetrack and navigate, trying to get around that guy that's struggling in front of you can be difficult at a lot of points of the race.
And that's a great point, Kevin. I'm glad you brought it up. Briscoe's been working on Josh Berry for 5-6 laps here. Still can't get the job done, but it goes back to what you're saying. I'm watching these cars all running high in 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, they haven't really migrated to that outside as the preferred line quite yet.
And this is kind of the classic line up against the wall, and then you have one seam down. We talk about the seams. There's 2 seams on the racetrack, 3 grooves, and Briscoe is
see a slide job coming, maybe
using that right side seam on the top seam in 3 and 4, and now he's going to slide up in front of Josh Berry, finish that pass, and that's what you have to do. You have to make those passes quick. You can't get hung beside a guy because it's just wasting time. And I know it sounds easy, but it's not
Blaney's
something
also
that's
got
very
a
easy to do.
3-second lead on
You think we're kidding about this B situation? Look at the last names of our
hey,
top
that's
4
stage points for
drivers.
me.
I'm
Yay!
there's something to this, fellas.
Getting my brain bucket back out and getting out there, Kevin. If this is
Bowman. No, I mean, Boyer. Yeah, you too.
It's time. I mean, if that's going to be the thing, right?
Yeah, well, we have some A's and C's right here.
Allmendinger has had great success at this racetrack.
My bench
Often
driver is
overlooked,
running better
but
than
he is
Reddick.
tied with Christopher Bell for the best average finish on this track in this generation of car.
It ain't just this track. He was really good
He's
last
like
weekend
really
at
good
that
at
1.5 in
Homestead for some
Vegas as
reason.
well.
Like in the
I
next
think
gen.
this
I don't
size
know
of
what it
racetrack
is
suits
about
AJ Allmendinger. Great run so far, starting this season out for some tricky racetracks. That's
Just
what you
run-
want to
he's run,
see
like, top
out of
10 here, like, almost every
Car
year
Lake
in the next
Motorsport.
gen.
That is very, very good.
Oh, I could've
And his
switched
team
them out
talked about how he was able to run lower, and that to me
Every
is a
one
way
of
to
my guys are
maintain your
consistent,
track
so-
position and also be able to pass better. That's a huge key.
Green through 23 laps here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Ryan Blaney out in front of Alex Bowman and Chase Briscoe.
Highly Herbs, come on. Come on, 35th. Herbs. And I hate when cameras do. I hate when the cameras do that. It makes you think that something happened. The camera just sporadically move to another location.
Keep changing the audio. Making audio. Noah's been doing really well, actually. Played Baldur's Gate. It's been almost a year now. I play with like 20 y'all, and then we just never played again. Play like once. So yeah, me, Avery, and you and Griffin, Avery, Griffin. I know there was a campaign. I think there was 4 of us. That's right, because he made Shrek, didn't he? Yeah, Avery made Shrek. And who else was on our campaigns? I know there was another one. It was just us 3. I don't know. I thought we had like 4 of us. And I still have not passed Act 1 still. Oh, wait, no, I have. That's right. I went into Act 2. You can't have more than 6. So I like 10.
Nice crowd on hand, enjoying the South Florida sunshine as Ryan Blaney leads this race by 4.5 seconds. Blaney finished second here the last 2 years,
Blaney is
leading
gone.
53 and
4-second
47
advantage.
laps. In the process, wants to take that 2 and turn it into a 1. He's led the most laps so far.
Great battle going on with Larson and Reddick. We talked about them at the beginning of this show being the standouts on this high line racetrack. They're battling it out. They've been crossing each other over. Slide job after another. Finally got the job done, Larson.
Moves Larson up to 15th, right in front of Reddick, and now chasing Chase Elliott, who had driven away from that pair.
Takes me right back to yesterday's practice session. You see Ty Gibbs right there. We haven't seen much of him this year, but Ty Gibbs, long run speed, Kevin, was standout. That standout material. He did a great job running the outside. This car is fast this weekend. Maybe this is the weekend things turn around.
Yeah, and it really looks all these guys are really struggling in traffic. We're not seeing a whole lot of big moves from cars that we thought would go forward. I think, as we get just past lap 32 here, Ryan Blaney's got that clean air, and right now he's just been driving away, but at some point he's going to catch the back of that field and have to work his way through traffic, and that's when it gets hard.
Wow, pit road. Here's Austin Cindric on pit road. A few takers early. Cindric, Logano is in. William Byron is in.
They're coming.
And more.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Micah McDowell also on pit road. And so is Ross Chastain and Cole Custer. Larry, 32 laps in, a little early?
No,
What do you think?
this is exactly what we anticipated. This is
Okay.
about 8 or 9 laps shy of splitting it in half. They want to get advantage of those fresh
Oh!
tires. A lap or 2 could mean 4, 5, 6 seconds advantage.
Yeah, and we saw
Penske on
Austin Cindric
Penske,
slide out of his pit box right there in front of his teammate Joey Logano and had to take evasive action.
All right, Briscoe is in along with
Hey,
Bell, 2 of the Gibbs cars.
And here comes
This
your
game
leader, Reddick.
sucks.
Blaney on pit road.
Well, it's forced everybody's hand,
it
so you
does.
can't
There's
give
like
up all that
nothing
lap
on
time.
the
So
rear quarter
the guys that pitted first, they're most likely going to leapfrog
Because
the
Reed
guys
doesn't
that
know
they
how to
were
make
racing
pit
around, and that's what you want. You want to get in there first to be able to gain those positions. That
Carlos
seems to be
Afarsu!
the easiest way that you can gain those positions right now.
Bowman on pit road. That'll hand the lead over to Josh Berry. Allmendinger in. Bubba Wallace. Daniel Suarez in. He had gained the most positions in this initial long green flag run.
And this is
And
where
Kyle Busch.
this is where you don't want to have those speeding penalties. You don't want tires to fall off. We've just seen an amazing amount of mistakes on and off of pit road. So this is a tough place to get onto pit road with the way that that apron is so flat compared to the banking on the racetrack as Josh Berry comes into pit.
Keep an eye on the blend.
And if we complete this, this will be the first complete green flag pit stop of the season. And we're already at race 6.
Well, Byron was the first one that started that cycle. You see, he ran down, made a little bit of ground up on your leader, Blaney, by pitting 1 lap early, but
Zane
like
Smith picks up the lead in the 38.
And on the flip side, some of these guys are going to run a little bit longer, hoping that the tires having an advantage at the end. We've seen Christopher Bell pull that strategy a lot, but the hope is that your tires are a little better at the end and you can make up some track position.
Also, maybe somebody has trouble in the pits. We've seen that, and a caution comes out.
Yeah, true. And it just makes it a little easier to pass at the end of the runs, but definitely looks like it's going to be a tough day to pass.
14 drivers still on the racetrack have not made their pit stops, led by Zane Smith, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Ty Gibbs. Everybody else kind of holding their breath that we don't see the caution flag. Eric Jones completes a stop. That makes it the first 13. Blaney is the first car on track that has stopped in 12th place. And there you see him in our map up at the top with Zane Smith the leader. Larson half a second off the lead. Has not yet led today, but has the leader in sight.
Well, this is usually when he starts making his money here at Homestead. As the tires are worn off, you get late in the run, he's able to run that high line. And
I'd say Zane Smith is going to pit right here. No, he's coming around again another lap. Larson going to be your leader.
Yeah, I mean, it almost makes him look like he's in a different zip code. Kyle Larson is right up against the fence.
I don't know how much time you can lose here, though, Larry.
Again, every lap is about 2.5 seconds. Every lap. But some of these guys, I see Hamlin still out there in the 11 in 6th place. He's notorious for splitting it right down the middle and try to get advantage of the second set of tires.
So Kyle Larson 35.05 his last lap. Blaney 33.40. It's about a second and a half. So Larson still is making good pace. His car has not fallen off as much as some of the other drivers up front.
Well, here's the other issue. You see Ryan Blaney having to go around these lap cars in his preferred grooves, most likely, and you have to put your car in other spots. So a lot of times you can't run and maximize the lap time that you need to maximize on these tires. And Kyle Larson has clean racetrack right now, so he's able to run some decent lap times on old tires.
Cody Ware has stopped, so there are 11 cars that have not yet been to pit road. Jamie?
And one of those, Kyle Larson. It's interesting about every driver, as long as they're not leading, they are tight. Kyle Larson, as soon as he took the lead, he said, all right, I'm not tight anymore. We're actually not terrible here. And Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, said, you're turning really good lap times here. Keep it up as Larson continues to ride the wall here, Mike.
All right, Zane Smith is in, so is Ty Gibbs, and so is Chase Elliott making their pit stops. And Brad Keselowski comes in as well.
All right, crew chief. I know these guys are smart. Man, that 5 car's getting ate up pretty good here.
Well, they got to come now because there's no advantage to running further because this is lap 40. This is halfway of stage 1. They need to come now.
Larson's last lap, 35 flat. Ryan Blaney got caught with a little traffic there.
Like this progressive stuff.
And on pit road are Austin Dillon and Zane Smith, too fast entering on his stop. So that will be a drive-through penalty for Smith, who got to lead a couple of laps. Denny Hamlin is in.
Here he comes. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. Spot on, Larry, just like you said, splitting it in half.
So Larson led 4 laps and comes to pit road. There's his service as Zane Smith serves his penalty. Ty Dillon in as well. And Shane Van Gisbergen. So Ricky Stenhouse is the only driver who has not yet come to pit road. And They're contraries. Whatever everybody does, they're going to do different. If everybody's pitting late, they'll be in early. Everybody comes in early, they're going to stay out. That's just the way it works.
Play the cards in your hand.
Yep.
Well, the cards that this 12 car has right here are pretty fast today. I like those
Good
cards today so far. As we've seen over the last several weeks, there are going to be a lot of twists and turns in this race as we go through the day. You've got stage breaks and tire wear, and as the day goes on, you're going to have to be more aggressive in order to figure out how to make some lap time up.
You told me this yesterday in yesterday's practice, Kevin. You told me that Ryan Blaney likes a loose race car. That is a good thing for a track like this. Keeps the car neutral through the center of the corner.
42 laps complete, the pit stop cycle complete, except for Ricky Stenhouse, who runs in third behind Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman.
BJ already bought Chase Briscoe tires. You see that in chat? He bought the car. He bought a Chase Briscoe Cruiser. They are breathable shorts. Yeah, they are breathable shorts. What about the Gen 6 next gen? It's a show car that has the Gen 6 body. It's cursed. Cole Custer almost died on lap 1. He made contact. Denny bumped him in the corner and almost sent him flying into the catch marks.
Well, we saw Big Papi earlier. Saturday night's baseball night. Catch Juan Soto as he leads the Mets against Jose Altuve and the Astros. Or you'll see the Braves take on the Padres. Baseball night in America returns Saturday, 7 Eastern on Fox. Check local listings. Here at Homestead Miami Speedway, Ryan Blaney, your race leader. And the two drivers that started the pit cycle, William Byron and Noah Gragson, both gained ground for pitting early.
Well, that's what you hope. And when you're able to do that and you can leapfrog those positions just by timing a pit stop, it sure makes the driver's life a lot easier.
Jamie?
Ryan Blaney pretty happy with this race car. Said he needed a little more front turn before he came in for that green flag stop. They made an air pressure adjustment, put 4 fresh tires on it as he continues to lead here. He dropped just a few positions back to 5th. Chase Briscoe came in about the same time as well, lacking rear grip. Remember, he has not scored a single stage point this season. They hope with that good qualifying effort they will change things. But he's also talking, guys, about his brake pedal feels long, so we'll keep an eye on that. Regan?
Alex Bowman continuing to chase Ryan Blaney right now. A good start for them. Crew Chief Blake Harris was very concerned about the start of the race and the long run speed that they would have in that 48 car. They did not show any long run speed yesterday. Today, though, a little bit different story. Right now, Alex happy with the car. He's tight, rolling through the center of the corner. Gets a little bit too free off with it at the moment. And the 24 car, William Byron, a good start as well for him. He's too tight starting off the race. Crew Chief Rudy Fugel told me earlier today he would be a little concerned if that was the case. He thinks this racetrack's going to get very tight by the time we get to stage 3, so they'll have to keep up with it as they keep going.
Yeah, Alex Bowman's lap times are right there with the fastest cars on track as we watch Josh Berry work there against Chris Buescher. Now this would be for 10th place.
I'm really interested to see the end of this, if it goes green to the end of this stage, Kevin. Some of these guys that elected to stay out and run more laps, the 5 car, Ty Gibbs as well in the 54. Those guys are way back here. Can they go back up through them towards the end of this run?
Well, and that's the thing. The guys that pitted really early, you're going to have to go a long ways on this run. The cars were already really ill handling compared to what they're going to be at the end of this run. Is probably going to be another step or 2 worse, and that's really where the guys who waited to pit will make that time up, because it'll probably be in chunks of like a half a second more than what they would have gained just being on equal strategy.
It is harder to make those passes later in the run, though, because they're going to be in that preferred line. You're going to have a better tires, but they're going to be blocking you as well.
Now Ricky Stenhouse finally made his stop 12 laps after the green flag pit stop cycle began, and because of staying out that long, he's nearly 2 laps down now. Denny Hamlin 24th right now, pitted at lap 40, pretty much late in the cycle, which began at lap 31.
Well, and he was able to get by leader Ryan Blaney and put himself back on the lead lap. That's the difference in those new tires compared to those 7 or 8 lap older tires.
I hear you say that, though, Kevin. And the 11 of Denny Hamlin, you were just talking about him, Mike. I mean, I'm looking at him at a 34.48. The leader's at a 67. That's not a lot faster.
No, and traffic is a struggle today. These guys are really struggling in traffic to be able to make passes. As you see Bubba Wallace try to slide up the racetrack right there.
Not clear.
Maybe didn't try to, but he slid up the racetrack. He heard Austin Cindric lift out of the gas. So he's frustrated.
Contact there with Josh Berry looking on. This battle is for 8th place.
And that's what happens at this racetrack. You get extremely frustrated with a guy that's right up against the wall, riding on your quarter panel when you're trying to finish the pass, and drivers get frustrated. But Bubba Wallace was not happy with Austin Cindric right there.
55 laps complete. Ryan Blaney has been out front for 39 of them, almost as many as he led here last year when he finished second.
Kyle Busch is washed. He's getting left. Kyle Busch is washed. He's getting left. Washed.
18th.
60 laps complete in the Straight Talk Wireless 400. Your leader, Ryan Blaney, by 8 seconds over Alex Bowman. William Byron, Noah Gragson, the front four. We've been green since the start of the race for all 60 laps. Noah Gragson, fast in practice. 5th car to qualify. He held the pole until a cloud came over right at the end, and he lost a front row starting spot because of it. But we listened in on their team meeting pre-race.
One thing different about Homestead is that pit wall. It's a bear, literally. It's tall, it's wide. It probably affects you going over the wall a little less than it affects the guys behind the wall. So setting tires out, catching tires, things like that. I don't think we need miracles today. I think we need a nice smooth day, and Noah and our car will be in the hunt. Keep controlling the things we can control. It'll be a good day. It takes 1 week to turn this thing around. Let's have some fun.
Gragson and his Front Row Motorsports Ford delivering, holding on to 4th place here. 14 seconds back. There is a look at the number 4 crew, led by Drew Blickensderfer, Nicholas DeCampo up on the roof, up in the spotter's perch.
Well, listening to the guys at Stewart Haas last year, and he's got several of those guys over on at Front Row on this car this year. The thing that they love about Noah is just his enthusiasm. He's always in the shop. He's always upbeat. And you hear Drew talk about having fun. I don't think that's going to be any problem with Noah on your team.
Well, you're having fun because you're running up front. It's going to put pressure. We know that the pressure is going to come down to the pit road. Those pit stalls, everything comes down just like last week. When the competition's this tight and this close, it's the crumbs, and those crumbs are sometimes in pit road. No mistakes today, clean day. That car can have a top 10 easy.
And this is what you hope for right there. When you have that, you wait that pit cycle out, and Larson is making that pass easy, and your hope is to make those passes easier at the end of the run and capitalizing on that time that you can gain on the new tires. But I think at the end of this run, some of these cars are just going to absolutely tank, Clint.
This one's going to be a little bit harder. Again, he's running in the line that he wants to be in, and you know Reddick is not coming off of that line. He can run it as good as you can. You're going to have to do another slide. I like what you said earlier, Kevin. When you catch him, you got to go. Just like he's moving to the bottom right now. Look at Reddick move down, trying to take his exit away.
Reddick knows he doesn't want him to get by. He wants him to keep him inside as much as possible.
Now there's a 9-lap difference in their tires. Reddick pitted much earlier than Larson did.
That takes me back where I was going with Kevin. And as soon as you get to him, pounce on him. You get stalled out side by side, time the pass, time where you're at. It's going to get the pass done right there. That's a hard pass to Tyler Reddick. And Reddick was easy on him.
I think that's one of the things, though, that Kyle Larson is really good at. You say it was easy on him, and in that situation he was. But usually Larson is really good at just making the pass happen right now. He's not going to be a guy that, this might be too close, might need to do this. He's going to drive into the corner, slide up the racetrack, and move on.
Stays with the momentum, never loses momentum.
Now, he was patient after he made his pit stop because Larson was 15th when the pit cycle started. When he came back out and the cycle finished, he was still in 15th, rode there for a while, but now he's picking them off one by one, and he's into the top 10.
Watching that Xfinity race yesterday, that line that he just ran off of Forward, he didn't ride the wall all the way around, kind of broke off of it just past the apex, Kevin. He's had a lot of success doing that yesterday. That car's loose. Look at it dancing around.
Well, that delta of time is going to get wider as the end of this run gets there, and he should be able to capitalize on a few more.
13 laps to the end of stage 1. Ryan Blaney has been out in front for 51 of the 67 laps so far as we take you box side by side.
Top belt. Wow. Oh, you see where he spun all the way down the track. Good lord. He might have hit the wall. Is Dawson gonna have a bad day? That scheme is great. Oh, it was a good lunch. No. No.
Christopher Bell spins off turn 4 to bring out the first caution flag of the race.
You can see him back here.
He was all the way back
It's
there.
right up by the walnut outside. Car gets
He just
loose,
lost
comes out
Alan.
from underneath of him, Kev.
Yeah, just flat out lost the rear of the car and spun out.
Larry was literally just telling us under break, man, the 20 car just hasn't went anywhere. We
Yeah.
thought that he would be one of the cars that would contend for a win with that dirt background, his ability to run that outside.
Minor front end damage as he got into the inside wall at the end of that spin close to the start finish line, but looked like just cosmetic damage.
Well, either
there.
way, with as tough as these cars are to drive today, any of that splitter damage, or if it put it up or down, see the right rear tire is flat right there.
I'm wondering, surely, was that the cause of the spin, or did that just go down when he slid? I think it was just a product of locking him down on a slide, blew out.
So we're at caution with 9 laps to go in stage 1. Ryan Blaney has led 55 of 71 laps. Here's what Kyle Larson had to say about our leader.
12 must be really good, huh?
Probably a
Got something for him.
Well, there's that.
Yes.
He's definitely, Cliff is definitely right.
Make a caution.
Even if he doesn't, he's going to make Kyle believe that he has something for him.
Larry?
He drove all the way up to 7.
This will be feeding time. 4 tires, but this may be a good opportunity to use those 1-lap qualifying scuffs for a short run if you're concerned about running out of stickers.
Wow, that's a great point. Yep, usually those don't come into play, but at this very abrasive racetrack, you need all the sets of tires you can get. Eric Jones gets the free pass on this first caution flag of the day, and yes, pit road is a busy place, led by our leader Ryan Blaney. Jamie?
Ryan Blaney pulls perfectly into his pit box, and he's a little tighter here on this run, but overall pretty sporty. Happy with it. Air pressure adjustment for him and 4 tires. The 19 of Chase Briscoe just 2 free up in 3 and 4 to run that fence. He loves to run the fence down there. Wants some help with that for air pressure. Regan.
William Byron in the 24 car felt like the rubber on the track because of green flag stops may have fooled him just a little bit to start the run. Tight at the end of it, needs the front to work better. And the 48 of Alex Bowman was very similar to the first run. He was too tight in the middle and free off.
So this will be a sprint to the end of stage 1. We'll probably get back to racing here with about 5 laps to go in the first stage. First caution flag of the day, a harmless spin for Christopher Bell. Verizon Frontline is the advanced network and technology for first responders, and Verizon recognized the service and bravery of local first responders with an honorary lap before today's race. Taking the track today were members of the Homestead Air Force Base, Florida Highway Patrol, Homestead Police, Fire, and EMT, and Miami-Dade Police, Fire, and EMTs. Verizon joins us in thanking all of our first responders.
We wouldn't be here this weekend racing if it wasn't for those guys.
No, those fires would still be burning, and we wouldn't be able to get to the racetrack.
Well, Kevin, when we got here, got up in the booth up high where we could see, I could not believe how close it was. Look at this. This is right in our backyard down the back stretch.
Yeah,
you can see everything that's burned up.
On Friday during the truck race, they were actually using the pond right off the back straightaway here to dip those buckets in the water and working on fires right over here across the road. So thankful to have those first responders there.
All right, winners and losers on this pit stop cycle. Winner, the 71 of Michael McDowell. They came in 17th, took only 2 tires, and they are now in 6th. On the other side of the coin is Joey Logano in the 22, who came in 6th and came out 11th.
Little shootout time here, Kevin.
Yeah, this gives us a great opportunity to tear stuff up sometimes. And it's, well, everybody's just going to be aggressive, and everybody knows how hard it is to pass right now. So you're going to have to take some chances right here to gain some track position.
A lot of points on the line. This is big. These guys are going to go for it.
Stage points 5 laps away as we go back to green. Blaney and Bowman up front, and boy, Gregson didn't get going.
Gregson missed a shift or
Oh,
something
here comes
up in the front.
Allmendinger.
5
wide. Oh, no. Reddick back out of it. Reddick back out of it.
That also sent
That was
Wallace
smart, Reddick
backwards.
back out of it.
Gregson just got loose and got up into Wallace and got in the wall. Still having troubles with the 4 car. Did not get a good restart at all.
And Reddick was back behind Gregson and kind of paid the price for the lack of momentum there, too. All right, Blaney the leader.
Ooh, that was
Bowman
close,
with him.
Kevin.
Close for 3rd right now. Byron on the outside of Briscoe.
Just barely slid up in front of Bowman.
And that's
3 wide for 3rd.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. Is you see Kyle Larson up on the outside right there. He's had a great restart with the way that 4 car stacked up, worked out in his favor, and he's taking advantage of it.
Where does he go now? Briscoe's going to block one way or another. Took his outside line. He shoots to the bottom. Slide up. Oh, not clear.
Yeah, we saw him get himself in trouble in the truck race, sliding up like that. You're hoping he does that a lot. He'll slide up, making you think he's going to come up the racetrack trying to get you to lift. But right there, Chase Briscoe did not even budge.
Starts process over. Byron had to go to Briscoe, and on the outside to keep the momentum. Loses his position back. Larson, here he comes again on the bottom.
So Noah Gregson, we're told, did not miss a shift, but just spun the tires on the restart.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. This is one of those places, if you don't get going and it starts spinning the tires, it's almost impossible to get it to stop spinning the tires, and just seems like it never ends.
Happened a bunch in the truck race and the Xfinity race.
By the time Gregson recovered, he was in 9th place. Two to go here to the end of stage 1.
Well, we knew that start was going to be wild right there, and see all the cars fanned out now.
Yeah.
But there was definitely some cars that had some pretty heavy contact along the way, getting everything sorted out through 1 and 2.
All right, Logano right now in position for the final stage point. Hamlin behind him. So Logano 10th. Remember, lost 5 spots in the pits. He's rebounded 1. One more lap.
Bowman tried him on the bottom of 3 and 4. Lost a little bit of time. Going to get it wound back up on the outside. Here he comes.
And Cindric on the move. Restarted 13th. He is up to 6th. And McDowell with those 2 tires faded to 21st in 4 laps.
One more shot at him. Here he comes on the bottom.
Who's going to win stage 1? Blaney up top. Bowman slides up behind him. And Ryan Blaney will get the stage win from Bowman, Briscoe, and Larson. It's the 2nd stage win of the season for Ryan Blaney, and his 2nd ever at Homestead, Miami.
won the stage. Yay! 10 stage. I think that's all the stage points we got because I don't have Allmendinger in. So, yep, just 10 stage points for me. DJ got 2. Bench or, yeah, even if they are bench or not. Yeah, because Allmendinger's my bench. Yeah.
Spring football is back. It's UFL kickoff weekend starting Friday. St. Louis takes on Houston, 8 Eastern. Then Saturday, San Antonio against Arlington, 4 Eastern, and all on Fox. We're at the end of stage 1, won by Ryan Blaney. Let's check with Jamie.
Well, Mike, Daniel Suarez has been the biggest gainer on the racetrack. As for his pit crew, they have been the fastest this season so far. It's a group of guys that are the same from last year that includes a Super Bowl champion.
Josh Bush, front tire changer. I've bowled the 300 before.
Seth Godoris, rear tire changer. Me, Anna McDonald, middle school. Charlie Plank, tire carrier. I don't like blue cheese.
Josh Appleby, Jackman, the only punter on pit road. Milan Radonovich, fueler, undefeated at checkers.
Talented
group right
there. Led by crew chief Matt Swiderski and the spotter up on the roof, Frank Kimmel II.
They just said like
undefeated at checkers.
Can you imagine them
Don't
boys
like
on the road?
blue cheese.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I like to hang out with them guys on the road. You got the bowling covered.
Yeah, 300
got checkers covered.
They seem like more fun than you.
No, actually, that's right down my alley. You're the one that would struggle in that. That one just backfired on you.
All right, Larry Mack, you just got tires, 7 laps ago? What do you want to do now?
All I can go off
where
is
you gonna buy
experience.
one
5
from?
laps is 5 laps here. If you go back to October,
find one on
Brad
eBay.
Keselowski, Todd Gilliland, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch stayed out on 5-lap tires. They look like Michael
$1,200.
Jackson moonwalking.
Well, we saw how well those 2 tires worked for Michael McDowell right there. So there's just no chance that's going to work.
So here are the most laps led by a team that had not yet won in the first 5 races, and when they eventually got that win, and you see Team Penske on that list this year. And when will they score? You see, Joe Gibbs didn't win until race 17 in 2007 after leading 600 laps in the first 5 races.
They haven't won the race yet, but they keep winning the war at the end of the year.
Blaney the leader, Cindric in 5th, and Logano 10th right now. And pit road is open, green light at the head end of pit road. And as Larry predicted, everybody's in. Jamie.
Led by Ryan Blaney, who's led the most laps today, got that stage win. He was on stickers there for that 5-lap shootout. He's pretty happy with it. Remember, he's finished second here the last 2 straight years, never won here at Miami. Meanwhile, you see Kyle Larson in the 5. They're putting 4 tires on it. Said he was pretty happy with it. They're a little loose in traffic in turn 3, but changes if he's up there in the lead. But happy with the 5, Regan.
Austin Cindric's team is trending the right direction. He was tight the early runs in the race. That time a little bit better with the 2 car. Still needs to be freer. The 48 of Alex Bowman couldn't get the throttle down to be able to get up there.
spin out
Now
pit
with
road.
Ryan
Logano
Blaney
with
for the
Barry.
stage. Trouble on pit road.
Yeah,
as we
Barry
see.
goes around, and he's not the only one there.
Logano as well.
Yeah, and they ran into it looked like the door of the 5 car.
That right front out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they all got jammed up coming out of the pit box, and they were too wide, and Logano came out with a full head of steam and ran right into the side.
All right, so let's show you first what happened here.
Oh.
Yeah, 4 wide right there. Yeah. Berry gets turned around with Logano. Larry Logano's in his pit box, but he came up the wrong way. Is this a legal stop?
It is. He and Josh Berry both. They are in their pit box. They may not be the right way, but they are in the pit box. A legal stop.
Logano was 10th. Berry was 8th coming onto pit road.
Damage is done right there. You said it. Lost the track
position.
position.
You see that. You see that hood up on the 22 car right there. That's not what you want to see.
Well, they'll get turned around as Todd Gilliland leaves his pit in the conventional direction. Well, we talked about pit road being the story last week with wheels coming off and being lost, suspensions being handed out, cars being turned around, and even a car leaving his pit with a wheel not tight and stopping down the road to get that done, which NASCAR said that's okay if it's a safety issue. But here today, already on the first caution flag pit stop, trouble as they were 4 wide. Look at Denny Hamlin outside of Kyle Larson. Here comes Josh Berry. Here comes Joey Logano. Not enough room. And around go those 2 Fords. Justin Haley blocked in. Miami, one of the narrowest pit roads, and you see the consequences here.
Yeah, and it feels narrow when you're on this pit road with that outside wall that it has here.
Jamie?
Well, just listening to Kyle Larson, they say they have a hole about larger than a baseball in the left side rocker panel. He was going to bring it down for them to fix it. They just told him to stay out, but something that they will repair next time they come down pit road.
Larson was 8th when he entered pit road. And you see some of the damage there. You know, there's always one outlier on the green flag stops.
That's a hole in that car.
It was the 47 Ricky Stenhouse. This time it's Carson Hocevar. Larry, why would you not stop on this stage break?
This is not going to be a short run if we stay green. You're going to have to run about 30, 35, maybe up to 40 laps. If other drivers had done it, you may have had a chance, but he's the only one. No tires versus everybody else with 4 fresh tires.
It's not going to be great, Clint.
Not great.
Remember, Josh Berry recovered from a pit road issue to finish in the top 5 the last 2 races, including his win at Las Vegas. Carson Hocevar, with those and now at least 5 lap scuffs from running the end of stage 1, will lead them to green with Alex Bowman. So Hocevar vaulted from 34th place to the lead by not stopping under this caution. Let's see how this works out. We're back to green.
Well, immediately you see the disadvantage that Hocevar is at, and it puts you in a defensive position. Not a fun place to be as a driver when you know that everybody around you is just going to drive by you.
And you have to do everything you can do to try to hold tough right there and keep some of that track position, because the farther back you go, it just is going to get worse. Hard to do. Virtually impossible.
Christopher Bell got the free pass, so he is back on the lead lap now.
Here we go. Look out. Reddick coming in hot.
That was Bubba.
Excuse me, Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, the Reddick and Bubba Wallace car and Chase Elliott car all kind of look the same with that color that they have on them this week.
Coming around to complete lap 90, and still a lot of 3 wide all the way in back through the pack.
Dennis, where'd he come from?
Bowman, Blaney, Byron as it sorts out here. We want to welcome those of you who've been watching the IndyCar race on Fox. They are having technical difficulties, so we welcome the Fox audience to our NASCAR telecast from Homestead Miami Speedway, where Alex Bowman's Hendrick Chevrolet that started on pole is now leading after pit stops at the end of stage 1. We've had one other caution flag, a rather harmless spin by Christopher Bell, but we had a dust-up of 4 cars on pit road that damaged Kyle Larson's and perhaps Joey Logano's and Josh Berry's. So we're back to green now in stage 2 after about 6 laps of green flag racing. Bowman Chevy, Blaney's Ford, Byron, and Denny Hamlin, the first Toyota, in 4th place. Here's your Xfinity fastest lap so far. That would be Alex Bowman just 2 laps ago, 166.1 miles per hour.
Well, you see all these cars fanned out there again through 1 and 2, and Ryan Blaney, we know he has a faster car. We think he has a faster car than Alex Bowman, and this is when it gets difficult. You got to run down on the bottom of the racetrack. Bowman not up against the fence, but still early in this run, how much do you have to use your tires up to hurt the car? Ryan seems to have a little bit of leeway with the speed that he has in his car, but you see what a difference traffic makes.
Blaney's number 12 has led 66 laps, way more than anybody else's today, and more than he led here either of the last 2 years. On both those races, he finished second.
6 in front of both, 8 out back, half in front, 1 in front.
Now the car to watch is that 77 Hocevar, who did not pit with everyone else at the end of stage 1. He is on tires that are 5 laps older under green flag conditions than the rest of the field, but in doing so, he restarted up front with the lead. Now back to 6th.
I think he's actually weathered the storm. I think that the first lap and a lap and a half is probably the hardest part to deal with, as we see a battle for the lead right here with Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman.
Going to slide up in front of him now. I think Bowman's going to go ahead and let him have it, lifted out of the gas a little bit early, but look right there behind them. Denny Hamlin, this 11 car's solid, likes his clean air, and it's coming.
And we talked about Denny Hamlin on a pre-race show today, just how they can keep themselves in the race. You have that experienced driver, typically don't make a lot of mistakes, do a good job on the restarts, and he's slowly put himself in position today to place himself towards the front of the field and put himself in contention to win this race.
Hamlin restarted 9th. He is up to 3rd as Hocevar drops to 6th place. Regan?
Well, Mike, just to add on Carson Hocevar staying out under that last yellow flag. The previous caution on lap 72, they had a slow pit stop. Because of that, they decided to go ahead and try to save the tires to do something to get track position back. So when we went green, they coasted around on the bottom of the track, doing everything they could to keep every bit of good in those tires.
Bubba Wallace edges ahead into 5th place now. 35 of 37 cars on the lead lap, including Christopher Bell, who got the free pass on the caution at the end of stage 1. Ryan Blaney's Penske Ford out in front in Homestead. .101 laps complete. Denny Hamlin's Joe Gibbs Toyota is flying toward the front. He restarted 9th. Here's his pass on Alex Bowman to take over 6th place. Or excuse me, take over 2nd place, and now he's 1.2 seconds back of leader Ryan Blaney.
You tell me. Go ahead.
Here is the gap from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the best seat in the house since 1925. Happy 100 to the Goodyear blimp.
Tell me to go find a driver with some experience that can save tires, and with his driving skills, his experience, and everything in between, I'm going to take Denny Hamlin every time.
Well, Denny does a great job. He's his history here at this racetrack has been very good, and you see right there, he's not having to ride right against the wall. He's up in the higher lane, but he's not having to run that fence right against it. So his risk is not super high at this particular point.
Always a guy that can manage and take care of them tires, has his whole career.
On the opposite end of that spectrum, Kyle Larson is going to ride 6 inches away from it and sometimes on it.
And here Larson comes after Noah Gragson in the 4. This will be for 10th place. And A.J. Allmendinger, who's been in the top 10 all day in that number 16.
You see Larson dive to the bottom of the corner, trying to get the air on the front of that car to be able to complete this pass, but it's going to be tough on the exit of the corner. Now he's got 2 cars lined up on the outside, and that's the risk right here. He was obviously behind Noah Gragson, but you don't want these cars behind him to get stacked up and lose 2 spots that you had already worked to get past.
So frustrating. As soon as he moved down, Allmendinger takes his line away, starts the process all over again.
And here comes Chase Briscoe in that camo car. That Toyota. Briscoe chasing there from 12th place, and Daniel Suarez also wants a piece of this.
Yeah, and Suarez has done a good job in making up ground. He was caught up in that fiasco on pit road and had to lose several positions just to get out of his pit box.
Suarez, the 99, last week's runner-up at Las Vegas. William Byron just moved into 4th place with a pass of Bubba Wallace. Jamie?
Well, Kevin mentioned the history Denny Hamlin has here as a 3-time winner. Talked to his crew chief Chris Gale this morning. He said the way they unloaded yesterday, they had great short run speed, but it fell off too much. And he got too loose to run really where he wanted to. So they went to work on it last night and this morning, tightened him up, and maybe a little too much in that first run. He was just too tight and snappy loose on the back end. But now they found that happy medium, just air pressure adjustments. Guys, and it's gotten cloudier, a little bit cooler down here. That 11 car has really come to life.
Well, we saw how much that mattered yesterday during qualifying. Just a little bit of shade on this racetrack picked the lap times up almost a 1/10 and a half over the guys that had already gone in the sun. So
yeah, that was a great point by Jamie right there.
Very, very temperature sensitive racetrack.
Briscoe in 13th in the 19, going after Gragson, changes his line down at this end of the racetrack.
See the 45 car of Tyler Reddick right behind him. We expected him to be in the mix today, and he has been nowhere near the front as we've run the first part of this race.
Suarez continuing to move forward, 10th place now. If he can hold off Allmendinger here, and does.
Yeah, I want to go back and just emphasize what Regan Smith reported about Carson Hocevar in his 77. What Luke Lambert did was absolutely brilliant. Remember, that caution came out. We restarted about 5 laps to go in stage 1. Luke was not chasing stage points. He put 4 sticker tires on, said ride around easy, take care of the tires, and then they stayed out and got that track position to start this stage.
Well, that makes a lot more sense to see the way that his car has run since the restart. I really expected him to go straight back, and I think if he'd have run 5 hard laps on his tires, that would have been the case.
Oh,
but
yes.
What a strategy.
Yeah, the strategy took him from 34th to 1st on the restart, and he's holding on to a top 10 spot.
Absolutely.
2 to 1 up.
109 laps complete, 56 to go in stage 2 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Ryan Blaney leading Denny Hamlin by 2.2 seconds. Alex Bowman another 8/10ths back. William Byron, Bubba Wallace the top 5. Wow, look at that wall, and
Good
there
showing,
is your
Seth.
leader, Ryan Blaney, going past. Look at all the tire marks from the middle of turns 3 and 4 onward. Ride the wall, it says at the bottom of the elevator as we come up to the tower here, and that's what a lot of folks try to do. Now, A.J. Allmendinger has dropped out of the top 10. He is reporting a vibration, and so is Chase Briscoe just ahead of him, 11th and 12th.
Yeah, and we're getting close to probably having some pit stops start to happen, aren't we, Larry?
No doubt. We went back
Here we go.
racing with 77 to go. As you see, Ross
The only reason
Chastain
he's
on
up
pit
here is
road.
'cause he
If you
didn't-
split it, you run to probably about lap 125, but I think we're starting to see it. And once they start coming, you're going to have to follow them.
Chastain and Kyle Busch begin the pit stop cycle. In stage 1, William Byron was the first to pit, and when the cycle was over, he had gained 3 positions. Chase Briscoe, with that vibration, is in. And a few more behind him as we continue under green. Austin Dillon, Michael McDowell, Justin Haley on pit road so far. None of the top 20.
Yeah.
Here we
Flag
go
pit
with some of our
stops.
leaders right here. We see Bowman, Byron, Bubba Wallace.
And when these cars get fresh tires, come back on track, and they're a second and a half, 2 seconds faster than the cars on worn tires, well, that should pretty much force the issue.
Yeah, and we saw Kyle Larson in some of those cars that waited until splitting the stage make up really good ground at the end of the run.
Hocevar and Reddick are in, so is Allmendinger with that vibration, and Custer. Byron completes his stop.
Got the camera.
And Blaney, the leader, is in. 4 tires and fuel. Remember, each team started with 9 sets of new Goodyear
Kyle
Eagles
Larson
and a
fires
carryover scuff set from qualifying.
Just like in the first stage, 11 elected to stay out there a little bit longer. You say that's pretty common for him, Larry.
As well as Larson. They should, if they're going to split this totally right down the middle, they'll go to about 125, 126, 5, 6, 7 laps from now.
Elliott, Gregson, and Gibbs are in. Here comes Cindric. He will surrender 3rd place. So Hamlin now your leader from Larson.
B-Fraud. B-Fraud. B-Fraud.
Seeing our split screen right there, Denny Hamlin go around Ryan Blaney, but it's not going to take long for those new tires to take effect. And
now these cars are unlapping themselves from Denny Hamlin.
Byron's bunch had a good stop right there. He did a good job of shrinking that gap on that.
Preece and Van Gisbergen in getting service. As now the top 15 cars on your scoring pylon have not yet been to pit road in this pit cycle.
And this is exactly what we saw in the first green flag pit cycle. We saw Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, some of these guys stay out, and they made up a ton of ground at the end. But they're on the front side of this run, you're going to see them lose a bunch of ground and have to work themselves back through traffic.
All right, Hamlin comes by to put lap 121 on the board. For those of you looking for the IndyCar race, it is now being broadcast back on Fox. So the top 15 staying out here on a bit of a longer run. Nemechek, one of those, he comes to pit road. Hamlin, Larson, Suarez.
There to 5, still there. Bumper, bumper, bumper. Clear, clear. 9th position, 2 lap holder, 10 in front.
Yeah, when you're out there riding around on those older tires like Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin are, you see these guys go by you, you're thinking to yourself, how in the world is this strategy ever going to work out? It's so hard to be disciplined in the driver's seat to be able to make yourself just stay in your rhythm when you know that these guys are going by you. Like,
so at the top of the screen, Blaney, the number 12, and Byron and the other cars, they are the first cars on fresh tires. And you see them ahead of Hamlin, the leader, who has not yet come to pit road. And you see the speed differential. Pretty huge.
Tell you, there's a speed differential between Hamlin and Larson as well. He's shrunk a second off in one lap to your leader, Hamlin. Larson's coming.
Chase Elliott on new tires unlaps himself.
Clear, clear, clear.
Austin Cindric. So now it's the top 9 plus Christopher Bell, who have not stopped. Eric Jones in the pit lane now.
I'd say Denny's going to be coming. He's going to have to force his hand here sooner or later, Larry. I mean, that's another half a second that Larson took
I would
off
say
his lead.
this lap or the next lap for sure. That's splitting right down the middle.
He's moving to the bottom. He's going to pit this lap. You're right.
William Byron made up a bunch of time. He had a 9.6 second stop compared to Blaney at 12.5 seconds. Chris Buescher has made his stop. And there's Hamlin. Spinner at the front end of pit road.
Oh, Daniel Suarez spins.
Now we should stay green if that car gets itself righted and turned
He's
around.
up pit
It's
road.
Daniel Suarez, who was running in the top 5. We are okay. Suarez gets going again. We stay green.
Well, this is what we talk about every week. Don't beat yourself on pit road. We saw Suarez capitalize on not making any mistakes last week. So easy to do getting off the racetrack here. The way that splitter drags the apron and the old tires as Kyle Larson hits pit road into his pit box.
So Larson surrenders the lead for 4 fresh tires and a tank of race fuel.
Josh
and that will leave just 3. Barry, Logano, Ty Dillon, and then Christopher Bell at the tail end of the lead lap.
I'm
Here's
telling
Ty
you,
Dillon
it was,
in.
Y'all,
So
y'all
we're just
wonder why
about
I
through
hated
with this
Harrison
round of
Burton for
stops
that
with
long.
Josh Berry
Brother,
taking
was
over the
he-
lead.
Barry and
Brother was
Logano
just
trying to pull a
beating the
rabbit out of a
21
hat.
car
Remember the trouble they
like it was
had?
Dookie.
If they could catch a caution, that would be huge.
Now, I guarantee you they all stood up with big smiles on their face when they saw Suarez sideways coming on the pit road. That was the opportunity they were looking for. Almost happened.
Here it comes.
Race, I think 6.
So Barry led 1 lap. He comes to pit road, and Logano comes with him.
See Joey Logano lock up that right front tire as he gets to the speed line down there.
Now that will leave only Christopher Bell out on the racetrack. Remember, Bell had trouble earlier, took the free pass on the last caution,
And
so
had-
was running at the tail end of the lead lap. So kind of a Hail Mary for them.
And he also had to wield off a mid-aisle
And
push.
Blaney cycles back to the lead.
Two starting
In front of
Red
Byron
Slug
Wallace, Bowman, and Cindric, the top 5.
Somebody else.
With
Oh, and Cody Ware.
127 laps complete and 38 to go in stage number 2. Not quite a caution as Daniel Suarez went around entering pit road and then righted himself.
He had to Suarez, Reese, and then 2 others. Did we give the juice cars to Bubba? I know. Like, but we've had like 2 good finishes out of all of our races. So more 11. I mean, we're 11th. It is, especially here. Let's go find out, actually. Chase Elliott had the best average finish last year. Reddick's average finish was a 13.2. I can go look. Well, actually, he's actually not here anymore. Actually, he's not here at the races because he said that he's not going to show up to any more races anymore because of the lawsuit. Because yeah, there's a whole lawsuit with 2311 in front row right now.
If you want to see who's ready for Augusta, the biggest names in golf are on Fox. Koepka, DeChambeau, DJ, Rahm, Phil. They're all teeing it up at Live Golf in Miami. And it all starts Friday, April 4th, only on Fox.
Looks like a good time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Here is a look at the green flag cycle. And again, William Byron, one of the big winners, moving up to second now behind Ryan Blaney. Let's recap pit stops first with Jamie.
Yeah, Mike, when Ryan came in, he was a little loose at 1 and 2, a little snug in 3 and 4, so they helped him out with some air pressure. It's pretty much what we've seen up and down pit road today. Right now, happy as he cycles back to the lead. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin back in 8th right now. Lost a little bit of ground. They pitted 7 laps later than Blaney, lacking overall grip off of 4. And the sun, I'll tell you, keeps going in and out, Regan, messing with these drivers in the handling.
Well, David, the 24 of William Byron, as Mike just mentioned, a very nice job on that pit sequence to gain a couple of positions. Still struggling with the front turn on the car. The front tire's not working quite as good as he would like to, especially early on in runs for that 24 car. The 48 of Alex Bowman. They were very worried earlier today about the long run of the race car, but right now it's the short run he's been commenting on the most. Short runs, he can't get the right rear to grip the way that he would like to. Feels like it's bouncing a little bit too much and spinning too much off of the corners. And the 77 of Carson Hocevar, a great pit sequence for them, staying out, gaining all of that track positioning, holding it still as he's running right now. He was free on the long runs earlier, but right now the balance is very good. And Luke Lambert told me one of the strengths of their driver is his ability to have creativity and move all around on the racetrack. I think that's part of why they had confidence to do what they did.
Yeah, great strategy for the 77. You see him right behind Joey Logano, who did not have a good stop, and Logano is a lap down. Christopher Bell finally stopped, and because he was out for so long, he is now a lap down and not that far from 2. Larry, what happened to Logano?
Yeah, Mike, at first, as I was watching it, it looked like a lot of trouble on the left front, but it wasn't necessarily trouble on the left front. The tire changer had to index his own tire because the guy that was going to index his tire went back over there and did more repair work on the area that was damaged on that pit road accident.
So Logano 34th, Bell 35th after this green flag round of stops.
Yeah, and we see the damage on the right front of that car. And look at Denny Hamlin right here. He's definitely doing a good job of keeping himself in contention. He's got fresher tires on his car, waited a little bit longer to pit, so he's having to go back through traffic.
I know. You've said it. I know. That's
Hamlin was in 7 or 8 laps later than the cars he's racing.
Yeah,
we know, just like we saw in that first run, right, in the first stage.
That's just how it is for me with
progressed
Larson, too.
there in the closing laps of the stage, Larson in particular. So keep an eye on Hamlin and Larson as they progress.
And he's still got about 28 laps to go in this stage. And
I'd say like Rusty
Denny Hamlin's about 9.5 seconds back. He was about 3.5 seconds back from the leader when that cycle started. So we'll see how much ground he can make up over these next several laps.
Well, Ryan Blaney's now led
we're not running
just about as many laps as he has the last 2 years here when he finished second both times. Penske now ranks 1, 2, 3 in laps led this season. Logano, Cindric, and now Blaney.
When you have a race like this going your way, Kevin, you've got to start looking, where's this left hook coming from?
Well, it happened to Kyle Larson yesterday in the Xfinity race. Had a late restart there at the end, spun the tires with a big bump from behind, and wound up losing a race that he absolutely dominated. So you know how this is when you're in this position. It seems like everything's going right. The other part is it's hard to keep up with your car because you're just kicking everybody's butt so bad that you don't make big swings at your car. But it's fun to lead laps. Difficult to keep up with the racetrack sometimes.
I saw Ryan Blaney's stats there. The whole Penske team, the 3 of them, only one top 5 finish between them in the 5 races so far this year.
Well, think about if you added Josh Berry into that laps led list. You know, we know that car comes out of the Penske Racing shop that the Wood brothers had, and you hear right there, Austin Cindric starting to shift right there. So that means he's downshifting
One
going
time I don't
into
start
turn
overthinking
3
it's
as
not
this
a
run goes on. And a lot of it, when I drove one of those Fords and it was tight at a place like this, you would downshift that car to help that car rotate, help that car turn.
Well, he's got a mirror full of Denny Hamlin. As we are 25 laps from the finish of stage number 2, Blaney leading Byron and Wallace, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, 1, 2, 3.
Bella's a lap down. He's not thinking back out of this hole. Yeah. Briscoe was the Briscoe was the fifth. Bye, Bozo. Past the two. Yeah, you passed him on the inside. Oh. That's what our drivers are good at, knows. Shame. A disgrace to the 88. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing about Zilich, about Van Gisbergen, but honestly, Zilich can prove that he can run pretty okay at ovals. I've seen him on the Xfinity Series sometimes. In Xfinity, no. No. I think he got wrecked at Bristol. Yeah, I can see it.
Next week, NASCAR heads to Martinsville, Virginia for a triple-header weekend. Coverage kicks off Friday with Truck Series practice at 2 p.m. Eastern on FS2.
Short track racing next weekend in Martinsville, Virginia.
I did the same thing with
As in the Straight Talk Wireless 400, we have 121 laps to go, and we're inside of 20 to go in stage number 2. Ryan Blaney has dominated the day. He's led 109 of 146 laps so far in his Penske Ford. Now here's the battle for 4th place. Pole sitter Alex Bowman coming back after Denny Hamlin.
Well, we know Denny Hamlin's on that strategy that waited to pit, got a little bit fresher tire than Alex Bowman right now, but Clint, as you know, when you get to the end of these runs like this, it just becomes difficult to finish the passes with as little grip as the cars have, but Denny's going to make it happen right here.
Regan?
Well, Mike, give some credit to Austin Cindric and crew chief Brian Wilson right now, running in the 7th position. I sat with Austin this morning for a little while. He was very concerned about what they were going to have with that car. It was extremely loose yesterday in practice. So far today, though, it's been the opposite. They got him tightened up. He has been slowly adjusting on it to make the front turn better. He didn't expect this morning, and it's working out pretty well right now, Jamie.
Yeah, how about Bubba Wallace having a really nice stage 2 here? His teammate, though, back in 11th, and Tyler Reddick. These two teammates have very similar setups. Obviously, Reddick has just been so good here. Bubba adapting to that. They've given him some changes for nuances in his style of racing, but so far it's paying off more for Bubba. He just radioed to the team. He said the handling in 3 and 4 is going away, and they said, hey, with the sun coming and going, the track is going through a transition. Make adjustments behind the wheel.
Well, Bubba right now he's one of the fastest 5 cars on the racetrack, so wouldn't worry too much about that. Tyler Reddick, how about Reddick back in 11th spot We expected
as a
him to be a
Reddick fan,
contender
I will
today.
say, yeah.
Hasn't really worked his way to the front. Not yet.
Well, we know how
It's
good
not-
he
it's
is at
not
this
as
racetrack, and today it has just not been in his game. You see him come down the racetrack right there, can't ride the wall. With AJ
I like the
Allmendinger up
Miami
in that high
style.
group, so you got to do something different. But he has definitely not been in the game at all today, Clint.
So here's William Byron, 2.3 seconds off the lead.
I like our Xfinity car
As
in
we're
Atlanta.
coming to 15 to go in stage number 2. Time for a Sunday Fox to rank it up.
Fastest on track, Alex Ball. I just also noticed. Fastest lap was just won by Alex. Look at Byron. Byron caught him. Oh.
Riding the wall and other places at Homestead Miami Speedway, this progressive banked mile and a half where Ryan Blaney has held court this afternoon, so far leading 115 laps as we are 13.
And now we all have hatred towards Haas Factory Team. Yay! Sorry, Haas Factory terrorists. What you know about the Larson trio? Larson Oblos. Gentlemen, Byron has caught Blaney. Here comes the battle for the lead. Wants to be the other me that wins this one. I don't know about the five. Yeah, come on, get that 10 spot. Come on. We need to get the top 10. Yeah. I just want to be in the top 10, please. Please. 1, 10, 13. Yeah, 150 points. I would definitely make a good bet on that if I run the late good money. Byron and here comes the 11 to wreck the 5! Sponsored by Progressive! Oh. B winners.
It's all in the B's. William Byron wins the Daytona 500. Christopher Bell goes on a streak. Josh Berry wins last week.
He said my name
Carson
now starts with
Hocevar
a
on social media says there is a B at the start of his last name, but it's silent.
Well, these two Bs are having trouble. These lap cars are giving them fits.
Hey, it's Riley Herbst.
Blaney cannot get around them on that outside, but Byron can
Tyler
get to his
Reddick.
bumper. Can't do
Tyler
anything
Bre-
with him.
Tyler
Here's Denny
Reddick. Oh.
trying to pass his car as well, Wallace.
Yeah, and he's had trouble getting by Bubba Wallace, and he's able to make the
Bubba
pass right there.
Wallace.
Kyle Larson right there in 5th place.
Well, we're only 7 laps from the
Bastion.
end of stage 2, so everybody trying to stay on the lead lap going into into stage 3.
Look how close Hamlin and Larson have caught. They have caught Blaney
Brad
and Byron here
Keselowski.
having trouble with these lappers.
Yeah,
Brad,
having
Brad,
trouble
Brad,
with those
Brad,
lappers.
Brad,
That's the big thing, and those lappers do not want to get lapped right here at the end of this stage. So if you're one of those guys that are on the tail end of the lead lap, hold your line. Don't come off that top groove. Run wherever that leader is running. You want your car right in front of him to take that air off of his nose.
So that would be Custer, Chastain, and Gilliland just in front of Ryan Blaney and William Byron, and they may split them. Trying to get by that. Whoa, that's close. Blaney
No,
the
not
high
my
road.
fantasy driver.
Byron looking the low road, but
Denny
not
Hamlin.
making the pass here. And Hamlin
Denny
has
Hamlin.
passed Byron for second.
And that's what happens when you get in these shuffles with these lap cars and not having being at the end of these runs. There's nowhere to go, Clint. The fast line is around the top, and the lap cars are not doing anything wrong.
And here comes Larson after
becomes-
Byron.
Well, they have to hold on.
difficult.
They have to hold on as hard as they can to try to stay on that lead lap. This is good racing right here. 5 to go.
And we know Kyle Larson, he's got fresher tires than all these guys. His pit strategy was to wait a little bit
If it's
longer,
like
so
a-
that's
if
really
it's like
paying
a-
off for him right now.
That would be Riley
Blaney
Herbst.
now
the
has to
Chumba
deal with that
Casino
Toyota
car.
that draws to his inside. Denny Hamlin.
Let's Chumba.
And just ahead, trying to stay on the lead lap, is Ross Chastain.
Oh, Ross. Ross is going to be a bit
Florida man up in the top groove. Here comes the leader to his inside.
Yeah, now he's got Denny Hamlin
Oh.
right there with him with a big run off the corner and fresher tires.
Comes a crossover. Larry, I am sold on this splitting the stages in half. Here's both cars that did that. The 11 and the 5 marching to the front.
swear,
Looking
Remember,
like they're going to
stage
run 1-2.
3
If he
is
wins
a
the
longer
stage,
stage.
he's
Will they go with that same strategy again?
I think that principle is going to apply for a lot of these cars. Everybody sees that on pit road. Everybody's going to start migrating a little bit closer to it, I would think.
Yeah, and the crazy part, Clint, is it's happened twice now, and it's still the same guys that have done it. And both times they've been on the winning side of making that strategy better.
Clear up
Oh
quick.
my
Comes
no-
away
oh!
for a crossover. Saw that coming.
Blaney trying for Larson probably wouldn't be in this position had he not had a 3-second longer pit stop than Denny Hamlin, who now has the lead. 3 to go.
Well, we talk about everything mattering and getting on and off of pit road. In your pit stall, the time of the pit crew, it all matters, and those 3 seconds add up.
They can't win anything else.
Whoa! Sideways.
Whoa.
Hang on to it, Kyle. Trying that line that he was doing earlier, about the apex of the 3 and 4. He'll pull down and come off of that wall a little bit. Didn't like it that time. Got to be careful with those tires, but with 2 to go, throw caution to the wind. Let's go.
Well, Hamlin and Larson's tires are 7 or 8 laps fresher than Blaney's, and that is certainly showing up with the pass and the result here for stage 2.
Yeah, it's about 7/10 faster, too.
Well, the lap times just get those last 10, 12 laps of the run on the long portion of the guys that stop short. The delta is just so much different.
That's a nerve-wracking long run to wait that out, though, and have it come your way right there at the end of this stage, but it looks like it's going to.
Also waiting is Joey Logano. He's trying to hold on to the free pass position at the end of this stage in one more lap. Logano's going a lap down along with Gilliland, Kyle Busch, and Christopher Bell.
And it's
Great
Cole
run off the
Custer.
two. It's not over yet. What are they going to do with this lapper? Cole Custer in front of them.
Got it. Go.
Larson's going to shoot to the inside.
Bingo.
Custer doesn't give him that outside. This could be it.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Larson really hooked that bottom good. It's going to be
Hamlin
a
got
drag
loose.
race. Here comes the momentum of Hamlin. I think Larson's going to
Oh!
get in. We run out of time.
Denny Hamlin gets his first stage win here. First stage win at all since stage 2 here last season.
P10, yay!
Hamlin Larson at the end of stage number 2. New leader, new players in the game here at Homestead.
Bro, he tried to risk me up, bro. Activities. have a town that small. Let's talk about the Sex Offender 500 MIS. The program alert on Fox just said you are watching NASCAR racing from Martinsville. Someone took a picture of it. Someone took a picture of the empty track. Someone just currently took a picture of like the Martinsville track right now and said this race sucks. Apparently, I follow this guy that's a Tyler Reddick fan. He just told me that, like, Tyler Reddick just put down some heaters that last couple laps. So, I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
The Hocevar problem, the biggest problem I have with him is when he was 13, 14 years old, whatever it was, I was racing at one of his home tracks in Michigan with a super late model while I was a Cup guy. Lap 8, lap 11, somewhere early in the race. Like, I wasn't that great, but I was going to bide my time, and I was just riding, right? Like, you ride. He comes right up alongside of me, sideswipes me, puts me in the front stretch fence, and goes on, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? Never nothing after the fact, never a sorry, hey, my bad. Yeah. And like same thing right now. It's just like he hasn't learned not one thing because he hasn't been under someone's wing this entire time.
Well, join Kevin every Tuesday and Thursday for the most outspoken podcast in NASCAR. Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by Echo Park Automotive. You heard Kyle Busch there using Hocevar and Problem right in very close proximity there.
Well, that's what happens when you got a new guy that's fast, right?
Yeah.
Kyle's been there. I've been there.
Kroger scheme.
It's a scenario that you just have to deal with when there's new guys on the racetrack and you feel like they're invading your turf. Sometimes, and when you're young, you want to prove that you're fast and you want to put yourself in a position to stand your ground. So. Definitely interesting to hear some history right there.
Well, that's what I love to hear you say that. I remember when you came into the sport, and I remember when Kyle Busch came into the sport. He was the same guy, just like you.
Well, today that new guy is ninth right now, and Kyle Busch a lap down along with some fellows we thought could be players like Logano, Chastain, Bell, and Busch are all one lap down right now.
Yeah, and Chastain had some trouble on that run. He was 18th and fell all the way back to 30th, being the first one to pit road.
Wait, Busch or 11th? Wait, he's 11th, huh?
They should open the pits this
Busch
time. Here they come around turn 2. Watching from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of an American icon, the Goodyear blimp. Denny Hamlin leading from Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, and Bubba Wallace. They've all had a chance at the front spot today. Pole sitter Alex Bowman. Then Cindric, Elliott, Hocevar, and Reddick are the drivers who scored stage points. Now, Joey Logano did stay in the free pass position because Hamlin did not lap Cole Custer coming to the line. So Logano will get the free pass. Here come the leaders, Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin leads them off. First stage win of the season. Set better grip late exit there. So they're trending in the right direction. Another air pressure adjustment for the 11. You see the 12 of Ryan Blaney as well. Just burned up his tires with that battle for the lead there. Slower on the last stop trying to fix that gear. Kyle Larson, it was four tires as well. No adjustments. Happy with it. Regan.
24, William Byron on the bottom right. Needed to be tighter after the green flag stops right there. He burnt the rears up too much as they ran.
Man, it's close quarters
New
on that
leader
pit
off
road,
pit
Kevin.
road.
There was a lot of guys locking brakes up, trying to avoid one another. Blaney was one of them.
Well, Blaney had a
We
tough
gained 2
go
spots.
at it right
Let's
there.
go.
He looked like a pinball getting bounced off of so many times.
Sure did. 6 spots down.
Going in the 10.
So Denny Hamlin comes up with the win in stage number 2.
Hell, it's the Chip Ganassi fire suit. He was ready for it too. Hey. He posted Chase Briscoe winning from like 3 years ago. So I had to send a current winner. The defending winner of this race, by the way. And then 23 Nashville. Kind of low-key forget sometimes that he won 23 Nashville.
Live here on FS1 in Miami. Exciting conclusion coming your way. We have just completed stage 2 after the round of pit stops with Jamie McMurray. I'm Chris Myers. The sun has broken through. It's been cloudy much of the day. 6 champions of NASCAR in this race, each looking for their first win of this year. Among them, Ryan Blaney, who has led the most laps. He also was the stage 1 winner. Here's a quick recap of the race and problems not like last week on pit road, but Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, some contact here. Joey Logano, a 3-time champ who's won here before, in trouble. Christopher Bell, who had his 3-win streak snapped last week with a spin, went a lap down. And more problems in the pit was on-car view, and it looked like in-car view with Josh Berry kind of causing this.
Yeah, guys being so aggressive getting out of their stall. You see Josh Berry gets into the side of Kyle Larson right here. Joey Logano, again, kind of an innocent victim. Both he and Berry end up the wrong direction on pit road.
And then Denny Hamlin taking stage 2. He has 3 wins here. That's tied for the most in the history of this racetrack. So we have the Hendrick, you have Hamlin entering, you have Blaney. What are you keeping an eye on?
Well, strategy has got both Hamlin and Larson to the front. They seem to have the best cars on the long run. Ryan Blaney finds himself a little bit behind right now. It's going to be interesting to see, can he work through traffic? He struggled with that at the end of that stage.
Pit strategy, pit mistakes, and who has the fastest? Let's go back to Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Well, pit road has been an interesting place on this round of stops. Ryan Blaney came in 3rd and came out 9th. Here's his radio.
Check the left front. The 9 destroyed it. Say sorry, Alan. Cleared him up. Got hit in the left rear a little bit too by the 19. Trying to not get absolutely destroyed by the 9. I don't think it's classified or nothing.
So a whole lot of not good there. Speaking of the 9, he has a pit entry violation. We'll get to that in a minute. Here's a look at Blaney.
Oh!
He
And
definitely just
contact.
pulled straight out with Blaney
God.
coming down with momentum, but look how much it slowed him down.
Oh!
Just keeps compiling worse and worse. Then he loses 6 spots on pit road.
Definitely not destroyed, though. I think that might have been a little bit
frustration.
A little bit of frustration.
Now there's that damage on Kyle Larson's car from earlier. Not sure
That's
how
the
much of
hole
an
they're
effect that
talking
will have.
Well, not much.
No, not so far. And Chase Elliott will restart at the back for a pit entry violation. Under caution, you must enter pit road single file. Here's their radio.
I just have them look at it because I gave the spot back. They all checked up. I moved left to not run in the back of someone, and then I gave him the spot back before I even turned down. Just have them look at it. That's a very reasonable thing.
I don't think it matters if you give it back. If you didn't enter single file, you
All right,
didn't enter
gentlemen,
single
last-
file.
Kevin, short run speed.
Last stage.
Really hasn't been in the 5's favor. It'll be interesting if he can hold off the 11. Had really good short run speed.
Well,
Falls off at the end.
It's also as close as he's been to the front, starting on that front row with clean air.
Hamlin outside, Larson inside as we restart for stage 3.
Yeah, and you see back there in the middle of the pack, Noah Gragson.
Huge run by Chase
I don't
Briscoe.
know who that car
Holy
was
crap.
that he just basically drove over to get that spot in the middle of the racetrack.
4 wide.
Which lane?
Here comes Bubba.
Look at them bouncing off each other. Man, quick high right there for Bowman.
Bowman up
Go,
top.
ready,
that was
go,
Briscoe
go, ready,
in the
go,
middle
go, ready,
making
go.
Contact. And on the bottom, Cindric. All fighting for 6th place.
Well, you can tell that this is getting closer to
Go,
the end
ready,
of this
go.
race. These guys are trying
Go,
to get
go,
everything
go.
they can on these
Yes,
restarts, being
we're
super
finally up
aggressive.
here.
Don't know
Let's
where
go.
Tyler Reddick has been, but he's up there for 4th place right now.
Let's go.
Sure has. Time's right. 93 to go. Here it
23-11 teammates.
Restarted 7th.
Let's go.
Finally getting a couple cautions there and
Oh,
enabling him to make
man.
some adjustments.
Well, he finished stage 2 in 10th place, gained a couple of spots on pit
Welcome
road,
up
and
to the
here
front,
he comes.
Tyler
Yeah, they
George
give that
Reddick.
guy, Tyler Reddick, some more track position, and he can utilize that car up against the wall. That's going to put him in a position to be really a contender at the end of this race, which he hasn't been all day.
Bubba Wallace going after Kyle Larson for the lead.
Yes, he is, and he had short run
Get him,
speed
teammate,
yesterday
get him.
in practice. Does not surprise me. Bubba Wallace's car was extremely fast yesterday. I liked what I saw out of that.
I hate to alarm you, Dawson. You've got 2 23-11 cars in their
paced
boss
Group
right
1
behind
practice.
Well, we saw that at Las Vegas last week,
Here
too.
comes
Great
Bubba.
short run speed to start practice and in the race. And right now, he's up alongside Kyle Larson for the lead.
I bet you Kyle just lets him go. On out there. Take off sprinting. I'll run you.
New leader
See
in
you
23.
later.
Well, and to Larry's point, there's a couple ways that you can split this stage up into 2 stops or 1 stop. So it'll be interesting to see which way a lot of these guys go, as we've seen that split it in half strategy be the best.
And look at Wallace's season. He's had 1 race at Atlanta that was without incident and got him a top 10 finish.
Yeah, and I think when you look at those finishes for Bubba, that's definitely he's run better than he has finished. He's had some great speed at a lot of those
I
racetracks.
feel bad for the people that just watched IndyCar because they're in the middle of a commercial break. All of a sudden, they panned the Straight Talk Wireless 400.
Bowman, Byron, Reddick. This is all for
Apparently, the
4th
IndyCar
place.
stream went down.
Jamie?
Well, I talked to Charles tonight, the crew chief for Bubba Wallace, about that.
Here
because they've
we
been getting
go.
a ton of stage points this season. He said our stage 1, stage 2
Never mind, we
has
got
been so
passed.
good. Our
We're
pace
getting
is
passed.
good,
Okay.
Speed is good, and we're firing.
Never
together.
mind.
He said the
Goodbye.
problem is stage 3,
Goodbye.
and that's what we're
See
in
you
right now. He said
later.
things just happen. Bad luck, or we make mistakes.
Never
we saw
mind.
it happen last week at Vegas. So
thought we
the
had
game
good
plan coming in, finish this race.
There we go.
Whole different scenario for Blaney.
It was
Finally, some cars in front of him that weren't lap traffic, Kevin.
it was fun running
Way
5th
different
for a little bit.
scenario.
And that's the tough part about dominating
It's
these
the best
races
we
early
ran
in
all
the first
day
half
was
of the
fifth.
race. When we talked about this earlier, it's hard to keep up with the changes on your car. And now he's in traffic. All these guys have been in traffic all day working on their car. So now when you're in traffic, it puts you behind on the adjustments on your
all
car
of my
from the rest
fantasy
of the day.
drivers
You're
are all in
asking
the top 10.
a lot
Let's
more
go.
out of your car, too. Having to lean on them tires a lot harder than you did out there in the clean air, making these passes as he passes, make his way around Byron.
So Blaney up to 5th.
All these things stack up.
Well, he's still got a fast car. He just needs to be patient. He's right in the mix with the leaders right there. Bubba Wallace a little out in front of these guys, but he's still in the mix. Don't get impatient. We're going to have to make another pit stop. There's a lot of things to happen between now and the end of the race. Take care of that car.
Alex Bowman in 4th. Now that time he tried the bottom in turns 3 and 4, where everybody else was riding the top. Maybe just to see what it was like.
Well, I think the other thing that's sticking out here is Tyler Reddick. Bubba Wallace's teammate Tyler Reddick. He must have had a good restart because his speed is not where it needs to be right now. Jamie?
Well, and often, Kevin, you hear us talk about tear-offs during the pit stops. Well, Tyler Reddick, when he came in, they went to grab a tear-off and pull it. They didn't get it all the way off, and it flapped back down. He's not
Are you kidding me?
But this is what it looks like. He's got a vision like this, basically not a clear view. It gets a lot of that dirt and rubber buildup. So this is important for the clarity. But
give it to the 2311 pit crew for not being able to do their job.
You see the bubbles in it right there.
He's going to lose 7th spot to Austin Cindric here, and for the
not do
lead.
their jobs.
Or excuse me.
We're
4th
backing
place.
down so hard.
Earlier it was the lead, and
yeah, that's
they started up front.
That's an easy one overlooked there. Every other pass has been for the lead. I tell you what, don't count that guy out. Never count a good man out, man. He is rolling. Still has that speed. He'd still have this lead, in my opinion, if it wasn't for the strategy difference.
And the driver's a little bit frustrated and a little bit mad. And to me, that's when you kind of get a little bit up on that wheel a little bit more, just because you're a little bit angry.
Well, he was almost 3/10 quicker than the leader that lap.
In traffic.
Right.
Ryan Blaney's car is always good on the long run. We've documented this before, but he turns the wheel less. His car is freer, and that really plays to his benefit when he's in traffic and at a place like Homestead where traffic is super tough. When everybody gets up against the wall and line sensitive, it gives him more options than most people have on a week-to-week basis.
The other part of that that impresses me about Blaney is usually when I hear somebody say that, or I experience that with the long run speed, it comes at the expense of something, right? Short run speed. And for him, he's able to do both. Very aggressive on restarts with a free race car, which is extremely hard to do, and still has a long run speed. Ryan Blaney.
It's not. Hi,
All right, Larry, is your calculator burning overtime?
I'm telling you, Mike, the batteries are gone in it. There could be 3 potential strategies here, but let's go down to Regan on Carson Hocevar first.
Well, somebody else's battery's having trouble right now. Larry's Carson Hocevar. He came on the radio phone a few moments ago, said, I'm losing power. They're going to check the alternator on the car. Unfortunate after they had a good run going earlier on.
All right, Hamlin retakes 3rd from Blaney. Back to Larry.
Yeah, Mike, there could be 3 potential strategies here. We know that Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, they've been splitting it in half. That means they have to run 47 laps a run, which would put them pitting around lap 220. Now, if you do
They
what
said,
a
all right,
lot of
Reddick,
men
you had
do
your
and
time
come a
last
little
year.
early,
Time to give all
you're
the
going to
stuff
come
to
around
Bubba.
somewhere around lap 213 to 215. The numbers show it's not the way to go, but you could split the stages in thirds. That means you would have to run about 30 to 32 laps a run. You know what? If you're desperate, that may be the way to try.
Well, Christopher Bell on pit road right now. Bell went a lap down earlier. Of course, he has those 3 wins in his pocket, so they're trying to make the best of a bad day here. 81 laps to go at Homestead Miami Speedway. Bubba Wallace has now been out in front for the last 10 laps with a half-second lead over Kyle Larson.
Really did give him our stuff. It's an equipment swap. He said, surprise, you're not going to win anymore. It's either going to be the T-Rex car or Kevin Harvick's 2023 Bristol car. which was probably one of the worst cars that I've seen Harvick ever have to drive. SpongeBob and Super. It's such a stupid. Oh yeah, by the way, 2311 still has their third car out. He's 31st. Sorry, 30th, excuse me. Discredit. I think
Pit road's been a busy place today, and it has kind of settled the fate of a number of our competitors who find themselves a lap down at this point, and there's a bunch of them from Ross Chastain on down. Herbst, Busch, Gilliland, Van Gisbergen, Bell 1 lap down. Christopher Bell just pitted. Cody Ware down 2, and J.J. Yaley just made a stop. He is down 3. Carson Hocevar's taking his car to the garage.
Well, they're running him down now, Kevin. That's a lot faster lap times from Larson and Blaney in tow. Blaney's running both down.
Yeah, Blaney's got the best car right now. He's definitely been able to make all this lap time in traffic as you see him get loose with Larson coming down the racetrack right there.
Tyler Reddick back in 7th, not happy with his car.
Oh, I wonder why.
Where this thing's even worse than it was earlier. I don't know. We've got to fire off a little better than this. Can't let them all go by me in the beginning.
On the next chance we get. Just got to stay focused here and make the most of it.
Restarted 7th, running 7th, 4.3 seconds back of the leader.
Yeah, he restarted 7th, and he kind of got up into that top 5 mix with a good restart. Definitely doesn't like the way that his car handles at the beginning of these runs.
So weird teams.
Back to the boards and coming.
Well, I think Kyle Larson knows that he needs to keep Ryan Blaney behind him. He knows that Blaney has a better car than him right now. So anything that he can do to play defense and keep that 12 car behind him or get around this 23 car. But ever since that moment, Blaney's kind of fallen back a little bit, and it's the interesting part about Homestead. You make a mistake, the car slides, the car pushes past somebody, get repassed. There's just this interesting dynamic of always searching for the grip as Larson basically just lays up on the wall right there and drives around the corner.
Well, it's time. We're 30 laps into this run, and that's when that outside line right on the wall seems to start prevailing, and that's what you're seeing with the 5 car. I think the 12 is being smart there, though. He's staying out of the wake of those 2 cars and kind of riding, biding his time, taking care of those tires, and if he sees Larson get to Wallace and get sideways, he might be there to pounce on them both. At this point, it's all about saving your tires and management.
And you say that, though, when you want to save the tires here, you just don't want to slide the car. You want to go as fast as it'll go without sliding the back tires. There's really...
And how do you do that? It's in the wake of that car in front of you. It's going to take the downforce off your car. It's going to be a lot harder on them tires trying to make up the difference.
And this is what Larson did last time that really messed Blaney up. He drove down the racetrack in the middle of the
Go
corner
away.
and took that nose out from underneath him and got the back end sliding around.
Can we pass still? Go away.
Reddick trying to come back on Byron
come on.
here. This is for 6th place.
There you go.
70 more.
And Reddick makes the pass. He's been up as high as 4th.
Yay!
Here's a look at what's around the turn on Fox. The NHRA Arizona Nationals are next on FS1. And the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Martinsville next Sunday on FS1, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And IndyCar will be back in action at Long Beach on the streets of Long Beach Sunday, April 13th on Fox.
Can't quite get a good enough run at him. It seems like the slide job works better in 1 and 2 than it does in 3 and 4. If he can get up beside him off the 4 and get that run. See the big run he gets off of 2. Needs to try to do that getting into 3. He might go for a slide job right here.
It definitely has more lanes. Down here in 3 and 4, you want to put the right sides or the left sides on that seam, whichever one helps your car the most. But if he can just maintain right here and put himself in a position to do that slide job like you're talking about 1 and 2, much easier to make that happen down there.
The 550 package, just by the way they can't pass.
Watch the run he gets off of 2. Gives up a little bit, entry, first half of the corner, and then here he comes.
I mean, it looks like he's running 20 miles an hour faster through the middle of the corner.
Wallace up high to take the air off of Larson. They both enter high. So does Blaney.
It's a timing thing for me watching this. I think he just needs to get his timing right, catch him right, where he has some momentum off of 4 and get the pass done down here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. You have to lift really early right here going into turn 1, and you'll throttle back up to the center of the corner, lift a little bit again, and then put the throttle down for the rest of the exit of the corner once you feel like the back of the car or the front of the car has the right amount of grip. But got to let off really early when you're running that high line and almost throttle back up for the end of the first third of the corner to the center of the corner.
Bubba does a great job down here in 3 and 4, right up on the wall where Larson wants to be, and he's not really slow there.
Yeah, just don't get rattled right now. If you're Bubba, just do what you're doing. Don't worry about where he is. You've got the track position.
I like the line he's running in 1 and 2. See how much time he beats him in the first half of the corner. He's going to come back up on him, but he doesn't catch him with enough momentum to do anything in 3 and 4.
And all that's brought Blaney back into play here. Now now 3 car lengths behind Larson. 25, that's how many laps Bubba Wallace has led. It's the most laps he's led all season, and it's the most laps he's ever led here at Homestead, Miami.
Have you see these guys starting to back up and keep an eye on Hamlin as well? You see 1.4 seconds, that gap's going to shrink. He's catching them.
Yeah, and a lot of this, the reason that they're backing up to Hamlin, he's got a little bit better clean air. Bubba Wallace's car is starting to slow down a little bit, but the guys in the 5 and the 12 are not fast enough to make that move on Bubba, so it's checking the whole thing up. And the closer Denny gets, he'll kind of fall into this pack of and what their speed is because he's had cleaner air to get to that point.
Now, all the leaders got tires at the same time at lap 169. Is there anything anymore to cooling your tires? I mean, not just saving your tires by not abusing them, but cooling your tires and waiting and then making a run?
I've never found that to work for me.
Rhythm.
I think that the rhythm is definitely the most important thing, to get into the rhythm of how much partial throttle it'll take through the center of the corner, where you're lifting, how much brake you're using. So that rhythm is by far the most important thing to lap time here, especially when you get on old tires.
Bubba Wallace running 34.66, the last lap, quickest car on the racetrack, ahead of Kyle Larson by half a second.
next car to be a lap down, well, 2 laps down, is Chastain. Yes. He's always good at this track. He's always good here. Oh, Benny's blown up again? Come on, dude. Come on, dude. It's the 3rd week in a row. Dude, this is the 3rd week in a row that he's blown up. God, man. The year I put him on my actual is gone. Yup. Goodbye. I'll probably be 3rd, but it's on fire. Gentlemen, Reddick P4. No, we don't, but I want to have hope we
And
do.
then, kaboom!
Boom!
Ryan Blaney's engine goes up in smoke. 2nd engine failure of the year for the number 12.
Yeah,
they
he
lost one at
gone.
Phoenix.
I want to hear his radio.
I'm fucking blown up. You have got to be shitting me. Oh my God. Sorry, fellas. It'll go our way eventually, I hope. Appreciate the fast car.
They did have that.
Let's see the
Look
view
at
of this
that
dude.
cloud
Oh my
smoke.
God! Doing a
That
burnout.
baby
He
blew
won!
up now.
Yay! He won! Hooray!
It was a rocket ship.
Oh my God!
Not a fast car, boys. He did everything he could do. Unfortunately, the motor let go.
Well, we talked
Part of
about this.
racing.
Yeah, we talked about this at Phoenix as to whether this was a sign of
All right, let's
something
change the
that,
tires,
that
guys.
the
Get
Fords
back
had
out
going
there.
on and where that would lead. We saw this with Toyota, last year when they had multiple engine failures. So now that's 2 for Blaney.
Can we get the wrap
so we'll
off
definitely have
this?
to keep
Can
an
we
eye
get
on
the
this
screen wrap
as we
this
go
off?
forward. But what terrible luck for this 12 team.
You don't see him blow up like that very often. That's lower end.
So we're under caution for the 4th time today. You see Blaney's made it back around to
Oh
his
my
pit,
God!
where they lifted the hood and surveyed the
They're
damage
gonna need
and
some
quickly
net
put it
wizard
back
after
down.
that.
The wrecker is going to take him to the garage. Well, his car, that is. He's out. And short day for Ryan Blaney after leading 124
yeah, I'm
laps.
just gonna leave the car there. You guys have a good one.
2/3 of this race. He was the
That
first
thing's
place
on
car.
fire.
Well, they need a fire extinguisher right there. Because that is officially burning.
So frustrating. We've all had it, Kevin. It's part of it, part of motorsports. You're asking a lot out of these race engines, pushing them to the max.
But that's 2 out of the last 3 races, and the only Ford, as you pointed out, to blow up like that
Give it to
in
the
these last
Fords
3
to blow
races.
Well, I
on
know it's
road
part of
dead.
racing, but man, does it stink. It is the worst. And it never happens when your car's running like crap. It always happens when they're fast.
You say stink, literally. I smell the oil now. I just came into the booth. You smell that?
Yep.
Hey, guys,
All right.
it's still on fire.
Yeah, they're going to be a while cleaning this one up.
They
So
don't
with
know.
58 laps to go, we'll take a break from Homestead Miami Speedway. We're going to take you side by side.
Yep. It was Phoenix. Like coming to like 7 to go at Phoenix, he blew up. It's calm. Brother busted in the transmission. Brother busted in the transmission. William Byron frustrated with the lap cars of Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Busch. They were side by side for 30 seconds, holding up Byron's pursuit with the race leader Ryan Blaney. They're racing for fucking last. 2 Chevrolets. Eric Eastep said, Kyle Busch fans, fill me in. Why is he running 30th? Hey Steve, riddle me this. Why is Blaney blowing up like 2 out of the 3 race weeks? Penske's. It was the same. Oh my god, dude! You said blowing up, motherfucker, blowing up. Good. Good. Hi, gentlemen. When in doubt, cheer for the 45. Goes back. Yeah. He busted. He busted in front of the whole field. You're the curse the entire time. Yes.
Working the 4th caution of the day at Homestead Miami Speedway, Ryan Blaney's engine let go.
Back-to-back 4 deaths.
Taking him from the
Stupid.
race after he had led 124 laps, 2/3 of the race, and been a contender pretty much all day. Jamie?
Yeah, it was a great day, and I just told Ryan if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all these last few weeks.
Look
Ryan,
at him, dude.
What
He
did
looks
you
so
feel
mad.
and see inside the car there?
Nothing. I didn't have any warning. It just laid over when I got back to wide open down the front, and that was all she wrote. So, yeah, my gosh, just stinks. I mean, really fast Dent Wizard Ford Mustang. Led a lot of laps. Lost a little bit of track position there with some stuff on pit road. But, got back to 3rd, and it was a great race between, me and Bubba and Larson. I'm sure Denny was going to get back into it. It's going to be a heck of a battle, the last 60 laps or so, but just didn't really work out for us. So we'll continue to keep fighting. I appreciate the 12 guys for giving me just a hot rod. I mean, incredibly fast race car today. So, we'll keep our head up. Just one of those things where it's not really going our way right now, but the good news is we're bringing fast cars, and that's all you can ask for. So keep on moving.
3rd DNF of the season for Ryan Blaney, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Let's ride and listen.
You hear he's like.
Now that was from Denny Hamlin. And here's the 12.
There it laid down. That's all she wrote.
Never a fun feeling from a driver's standpoint. Especially when they're unexpected like that all of a sudden.
So officially Blaney will be 36th today. He and Carson Hocevar.
Keep an eye
cars
on.
that are in the garage.
All right,
pit road
gents.
is open.
Keep an eye on the 11 and the 5. That's where that 12 came to rest. A lot of oil on the race or on the pit road here.
Jamie.
Yeah, exactly, Clint. They just warned Larson as well. Be careful, your left side went straight through it. The team was actually helping with the cleanup. Larson saying,
all right, good stop. Let's get the windshield tear off this time, please.
Adjustment for the 5 to 23. Bubba Wallace, just 1 top 10 in his career here, having a stellar day. 4 tires there, air pressure as well. Regan.
24, William Byron, too tight the entire run, as he has been all day after yellow flag stopped. The 48 of Alex Bowman as well, too tight. Told Blake Harris, I just need front turn. Please get me front turn.
We're 4th or like 5th. We're
Bubba
gonna be
Wallace
5th.
leads them off pit road. Alex Bowman picks up a spot. Austin Cindric, Chris Buescher each pick up 3. 54
Hey, it's Jeffrey
laps
Michael
to go.
Gordon.
I believe Kyle Busch will get the free
I did
pass under this caution. Put him back on the lead lap.
Flipping P5.
Well, Kevin, we've got 54 to go right now. We'll restart with, what, 50 laps to go. How hard do you want to push? How soon?
I
Cindric
think you want to go right
Actually,
off the
no,
bat.
Cindric actually is, I don't
You
think he's
have
in
to
the
try
front,
to get
actually.
control of the race.
These
I
are all
think that
lap
the 23
cars up
car is a
front.
little bit better than the other two guys on the restart.
Cindric is
I
not.
think that
Cindric is, like,
Kyle
the
Larson
8th
and Denny
or 9th.
Hamlin over the long run seem to be pretty
Huh?
even, but it was hard to tell because Larson couldn't run that high line without traffic in front of him. So this is going to be interesting. I think you want to get control of the race as fast as you can.
All right, penalties. Austin Cindric and William Byron, too fast.
Cindric and
entering
Byron
pit road.
penalties. Cindric and
Ricky
Byron
Stenhouse
penalties.
had an uncontrolled tire, so they will be restarting in the rear.
P5, yay!
Well, pit road.
Well, Cindric
we
will
knew
be
it
at the
would
end of the
be
line, so will Byron.
a game changer today, and so did our drivers.
I gotta.
21. Drove right our door. Yeah, 10-4. We'll take a look at it. All right, go check damage. That right front out there. Run back around here. You're good. Just shake that off. We're going to get a good stop. We'll drive back by everybody. Take the left front for 9. Destroy it. Hit the left rear a little bit too late.
7th most narrow pit on the NASCAR circuit. Narrow pit road, that is. They're all the wave arounds going past the Corvette pace car as we get ready to restart. Wallace ahead of Larson and Hamlin. Toyota, Chevy, Toyota the first three. The first Ford is Austin Cindric in 6th, but he's under penalty. So make that Chris
AJ
Buescher.
Allmendinger.
You got AJ
might win
Allmendinger
this
here.
race.
I was just praising him under break, Kevin, how good a job he was doing. We've been watching this for a couple weeks. Had a bad pit stop there, guys. 12-second stop, lost 5 spots.
I
Can
will
he gain
say
them
this,
back?
Griffin.
Well, he's gained them back all day. He's done a really good job today. His car's handling well, and look for him to gain some of those spots back. But great day for that team.
Papa
So
Wallace is
Cindric
not
dropping to
leaving
the back. In fact, Allmendinger, the cars either side of him. Austin Dillon in 11th, Ryan Preece in 13th. All having a good fight for a top 10 spot today.
Great stop for Buescher and company in the 17.
Outside.
Gained him 3 spots.
And guys, we talk about long run. If we go green to the end, this will be the longest run of the day. And how about the pit crews? The 23,
Well, he's not leaving.
906, the 5 pit crew, 97, the 1197 on that stop right there.
All right, Larry, William Byron stopping to top off and to check something there on the right rear.
Yeah, he got a
and now we're
penalty.
going to the left side.
Yeah, he got a penalty, so they're just going to
Yeah,
pit
they're
again.
just making adjustments, Mike. There's no benefit to topping it off with fuel with basically less than 50 laps to go.
That's right. They're under penalty,
Yes.
so they have to restart
Okay,
tail into the
yeah.
longest line anyway.
See it.
Like they were lowering the back of that car down a little bit, Kevin. Round out of the right rear, half round out of the left rear.
Yeah, and that's hard to get that right here. You want the back of the car as low as you can to get the diffuser as low as you can to the car, but we've heard some of the drivers talk about the bumps and things, and so the lower that
when
you can
when
make
you go to
that
jail
and
for
have
it,
the
there's something
stops
wrong
ride
for it.
right, the more downforce it's going to make.
Gravity
He's
too
gonna need it
aggressive.
back there in that dirty air.
New player in the first
Both
3
him
rows,
and his
Chris
brother
Buescher.
went to jail for that.
He's the highest Ford in this race. He is in 6th. Chase Briscoe 7th. Noah Gragson 8th. Dillon and Allmendinger fill the top 10.
Yeah, Farm
Ahead of
Bridge.
Preece,
Let's go,
McDowell, and
Buescher.
Haley. So a bunch of new players up
We're
toward
back
the
up
front.
This is exactly what we've been watching with Buescher. Just steady Eddie, and
Oh,
all of a
boy,
sudden
he's
here
right
at the
next to
end,
us.
right in position
Don't do
for a
anything.
solid finish.
Steady.
Wallace
Oh,
and
you're a steady
Larson
bitch,
will lead them
Warrior.
back to green.
Reflect. What
You
a
see
great
that
push from
outside
that.
line
Oh!
get connected right there. That's as good as we've seen.
Look out. Elliott to the inside of Gillen. I think that was, man, that was close.
Reddick backed out of it.
Almost
Reddick backed
4
out of
wide
it.
for the
Reddick
lead.
backed out of it. Oh!
Behind Wallace now.
All right, push the 19. Push the 19. Push the 19.
Huge run on the outside for Bowman.
Push the 19. Okay, go to the bottom. Got a nickel for every time he recycled the fourth. after
Bowman
a
on the
restart.
high line trying to wrest 2nd away from Denny Hamlin.
6th.
And does at the line. Well, you're right, Kevin. Nobody held back. Get all you can get as soon as you can get it, right?
Well, it's better to have the best track position that you can have before all the cars get singled
We're
out.
right there
Running that
behind
top
you.
group,
Come
it just
here.
becomes harder to be able to pass because the cars are more into one line. So you want to get everything that you can on these restarts, and might be the last one. You never know.
Hold on to it, Bowman.
Oh, man.
Hamlin fought back and then ran out of racetrack. Here's Larson to his inside now.
Not clear. That was as close as you can get. About turned him right into the wall, didn't it, Kev?
Yes, it did. And definitely got clear to, and when he wasn't clear right there, caught the front end of Larson's car.
Take it.
Five
Oh,
cars
my
under
God.
a blanket for third place.
Luckily, we didn't wind up with a wreck right there.
Now 2 by 3 for fourth on back.
This is the run Chase Briscoe needed in that 19
Busher.
car. We were talking about this in the pre-race show.
Busher.
This kid in this new ride has had a little bit of trouble, a little bit of rough start here, but man, a solid run right here is just what the doctor ordered for this team.
And
Look on
here
the
comes
outside.
Well, you said it
Briscoe.
right there, team. It's not just been Chase Briscoe. They've had all kinds of things go on, but for Chase Briscoe's confidence,
That's
for his crew
Busher.
chief and team's confidence,
Come
they just
on,
need
Chris.
a full day to go exactly like this, where we don't really notice them, but they're
Austin
running
Dillon,
inside the
PA.
top 5 at the end of the race.
Single-digit finish. Just get me a solid run here, man. A top 5 would be
No.
huge for this team.
No.
Big turnaround, right in the
No.
shit, baby.
No.
Briscoe trying to take Hamlin
Go
for
away.
fourth here.
Go away, Austin Dillon.
Dives down
No.
the inside.
Run.
Briscoe
Run.
starts with a beat.
Run
Bubba
away.
starts with a beat. Does that count?
I'm not sure that counts, Mike.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going to have to go to the judges.
I see what you're saying. I
Oh.
like what you did. I think it counts. Tell you what's counting. The 17, Austin Dillon. We haven't talked about him. Haven't seen him all day long. This is a good track for that 3 car in Austin Dillon, and he's showing up at the right time. 47 to go.
We are not peddling
Yeah,
Austin
and we
Dillon
see
from position.
several
Go.
guys in the top 10 are showing up at
Go.
the right time. Noah Gregson
Go.
back into the top 10. Ryan Priest is running 11.
Curse him. Oh,
Austin Dillon, typically good at this racetrack, and you see that 16 car, AJ Allmendinger,
Go.
working his way back forward.
Right
Reddick,
back in the top
push your
10.
equipment. Get
That
him.
is
Get that bozo. Get
overachieving.
your
That
former
team
teammate
is-
out of
is
here.
Doing a really good job in these mile-and-a-halfs. I am impressed with that 16 car.
Todd Gilliland with an unscheduled pit stop. Let's check with Jamie.
Yeah, they've been taking big swings at AJ Allmendinger's 16 machine. Overall, pretty happy.
Yeah,
with it.
P11.
It
P11.
works
Zane
better when they're
Smith.
lighter on fuel because the way it's bouncing around. So that last stop, Clint, I know you were interested in why it was longer. They had to hold him and wait a little bit longer on fuel. So that was the 12-second stop. He gave up.
You're gonna have one good car be good
outside
today,
the top
Dawson.
10 there.
Larson
Now, you
fifth.
guys
Oh, what
also
did you hear about
mentioned Chase
Byron
Briscoe.
24th?
What an undertaking it's been for this young man to switch from Ford to Toyota and jump into the Joe Gibbs way. I talked to his crew chief, James Small.
Here
He
comes
said
Hamlin.
he likes a tighter car than what Martin Truex Jr. likes, and it's taken a lot of getting used to what he needs. Chase admitted he's had to change his driving style to get comfortable, and it's good to see them having this solid run. They really needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Denny Hamlin keeping him tight. Teammates battling right there behind Kyle Larson. Let's go back to the restart. Got some audio from race leader Bubba Wallace.
No, go away, Austin Dillon. Go away.
Try to get that one away. Restart it, sir, like a idiot. Good job, dummy. Keep driving away.
Oh, he restarted in third?
It's amazing how much more fun you can have on the radio when you screw something up and you're leading.
And when you're leading, yes.
Boy, we got passed by Austin Dillon.
We've
Are
heard
you
from the
kidding
judges.
me?
Nicknames do not count. His given name
Are
is
you
Darrell.
kidding
That's a
me?
D. Wallace, that's a W.
This is
as
an
in
easy,
wrong.
This is an easy fix.
Okay.
The judges need replaced. Simple
I
as
like that clarification. It's kind of like that changing tires in the pit, in
Are
somebody
you
else's
kidding
pit
me?
last
Right.
week. You can change the tire to be safe, but you can't work on your car.
Was he
no
given the
adjustments.
option? Here he
Here we go.
comes.
Safety issues only. Well, there's Chris
Was he
Buescher
given
right
the
in
option
middle of it,
tire?
with Dylan Chevy on the
Come on,
bottom.
Reddick.
and
Pass
Hamlin's
that
Toyota up
fraud.
top.
He was your former teammate. Get him out of here. Oh! On the bottom. Goodbye. See you later, Stinky.
42 laps to go behind Dylan and Allmendinger. Ryan Priest has cracked
Go,
the top
Stinky.
10.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and if this goes the
Get
whole
outta
run,
here.
this is
Oh!
going to be really interesting at the end. It'll be the longest run, like you said, that we have run all day. But
Former teammate.
when you get
out
into
of
those
here.
extra laps, you just don't know what you have with the car. Some guys will be much better than others, and usually it's the guys that are right up next to the fence that can make up the most ground.
Riding with Priest there, going after Allmendinger for ninth place.
Allmendinger, can you wreck him,
Well,
please?
Mike, you're
Absolutely right. Ryan Priest's
Be a good
team is
bench-
methodically
be a
all
good
day
bench warmer.
improved the race car. For the most part, it had been too tight most of the day.
Hi,
they were
Brad.
trying to keep up with the
Or is that
racetrack.
Priest
They
there,
felt
Wes?
like the racetrack kept tightening up. And give that pit crew some credit as well. Some wonderful stops on pit road. I got handed a
Really
note sheet
enjoys
that
not
said
in the field anymore.
8.69. Two stops ago, it gained them 6 positions. And then the 3 car of Austin Dillon. They've been very good as well. Just slowly making gains on the car.
Go
Not going
away.
anything drastic
Go
to it.
away.
Little tight taken off earlier on. Right now,
We
he's
can't
doing
be
the same
serious
thing.
right
He's
now.
A little bit tighter on entry.
going after
We
Tyler
can't be
Reddick
serious
here,
right
who is
now.
up as high as 4th, but now
Get in front of
backslid
him.
to
Block him.
7th and into the clutches of
Do the
Dillon.
nay-nay on him. Go.
Yeah, think about when you used to race at RCR, Clint.
Yeah, Kurt, can you curse the 5 for me?
Always
Curse the
at
5
end of
right
the
now.
race when you were the best. It was always a
5
long-run
blue
car,
shirt.
and it was always around at the
Oh,
end of the race.
away.
And that's kind of the day that Austin Dillon has had today.
Here's 100% spot
It needed.
on.
It needed.
All the races I won there
away.
were long run races. My first one, all of them. That's what he's doing right here. Managing those tires.
Oh my
It's
God.
a good track for him, though. I mean, it's you can't take anything away
Allmendinger,
from that
give us a
driver.
good push, please.
Well, Larson's been into the wall again. Here's a look.
We need a Larson wall counter.
Oh,
I think that's 17. I've been trying to keep track of that.
bye-bye,
That's
Stinky.
That was 17 through 20 right there, Clint.
No. The judges. Go back to the judges. Only
All right.
counts as one.
All right.
At the Chili Bowl, it only counts. It doesn't matter how many times
Briscoe
you roll over. It only
P3,
counts as one
hello?
play.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
because you flip 17 times doesn't mean you get 17 flips
Cannot
out
be
of it.
serious right
All
now.
right.
Why
That's
are we
one
still
crash.
battling?
The side of this car is going to be see-through, though.
Well, it started in practice.
Ty Gibbs was hopeful of a good day. He stayed on the lead lap pretty much all day. He's back at 25th right now, 10 seconds
about,
off the lead.
Ty Gibbs
Battling
running
with
25th. On
Busch,
pure speed.
Keselowski, and Nemechek. So back up front to Bubba Wallace, whose
Let's have a
last
discussion
win
about
came 84
Austin
races
Dillon.
ago.
Get him
Kansas,
away.
September of 2022. He's got a 3/4 second lead on Alex Bowman.
Can't say enough about Alex Bowman. They have taken care of business this weekend. Set on the pole, running second. Can it be their weekend?
Back at third, Chase Briscoe. What a turnaround for this team. 2.4 seconds off the lead.
And like we talked
They
earlier,
Briscoe
I mean,
needed.
it's a run that they needed, just a solid day. Chase always pretty good at this racetrack. We know Kyle Larson is really good at this racetrack. Probably, if you asked him, it'd be a terrible day because he's running 4th.
Denny Hamlin led earlier for 15 laps. Solid top 5 right now. Fired off 4th on the last restart, running 5th. And Chris Buescher.
Exactly what you expect out of Buescher. 11th, 13th,
You're
11th,
no
6th.
way.
Money's
Oh
on the
my
line.
God,
Pay windows
you
open.
little cockroach.
6th place.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick right here. We expected him to contend for the win. He hasn't been in position to do that all day.
You little cockroach.
Last
Move.
year's winner of this race, that's a bit of a surprise. As
Nope,
Austin
nope,
Dillon
nope, nope.
tries to
Thank
take
you,
the
Allmendinger,
measure
for
of
the
him here
air.
for 7th place.
Thank you for being the
At,
fantasy
what is
teammate
one
we
of Dillon's
needed.
best
Go.
racetracks, and what's definitely A.J. Allmendinger's best
My
racetrack.
fantasy-
Tied for the
my
best
fantasy
average
teammate.
finish
Go.
here for drivers with 5 or more starts in
Goodbye,
this
Stinky.
7th
Go.
gen car.
Run.
Always intriguing to see
Run.
what tracks are good.
Run.
Ryan Priest, he's had a great run. He's had a great season. Hasn't had all the finishes with
that piece of
where
chunk
he's been running
out
during
of
the
the
races,
sky.
but he's ran well. He's led laps. He's won stages, and now
Fighting
he
too
is in a
hard with
position
Reddick. He
to
turns himself.
get another top 10.
Yeah, 3rd last week, running 10th right now. Zane
flash
Smith running 11th in the 38 for front row, recovered from a speeding
guilty by
penalty back at
association.
lap, 40.
Quite well, I might add.
Mister, I'm going to put my head on.
Yeah, because that penalty came on a green flag pit stop. He had to serve the penalty under green. That took him back a bit.
And up for the lead. Here comes
Here we go.
Bowman.
Pass for the lead. Look at this.
Oh.
Look at the run on that outside. Oh, he had to lift, Kevin. Lifted. Big
Here
time
comes
momentum going to
Bowman.
the 48 side draft. Not clear. Still there.
Remember, these two are not
Come on,
best friends. They
here
had
comes
contact at
Briscoe.
Chicago post-race.
Yeah, and this 23 car, he knew right there. He said, if this 48 car clears me, and there he goes.
There goes
Alex
Bowman.
Bowman's able to clear Bubba Wallace for the lead.
with
I think
33
so.
to go.
32 laps.
Larry, what are the trends telling us?
Well, Mike, I looked at the
gotta
3
be
races
kidding.
that we've been here to Miami with the Gen 7 car the last 3 years. Average of the last caution, not that late in the race. Lap 246, around 20, 21 laps to go. No overtime finishes with this Gen 7, but the trend in 2025, 2 out of our 5 races, has ended in overtime.
Okay. Well, this race having a lot of long.
Dude, you've
green
got to be
flag
kidding me. We
runs.
got passed by
Other
him?
than the stage breaks, only 2 other caution flags today.
Briscoe caught the wall a little bit in the center of 3
Michael,
and 4.
we need to have a
slowed him up. Here
conversation
comes the
about
5.
what's going on
He's running right in his line, though.
This is for 3rd place.
Yeah, and you see the back of that 5 car step out on the bottom of the racetrack. We know at this point in the run, he wants to be up against that wall.
And I think at this point in the run, to your point right there, Kevin, I think the 5 car and his ability to run way up on that outside wall deep into these runs could prevail, but he's got a long
Hey,
ways
look,
to
we're
go
there!
and some tough cars to pass.
Well, there you see AJ Allmendinger going by Austin Dillon for 7th place,
My,
and that
my
is going to allow
bench,
Reddick.
my bench fantasy driver.
Not going to quite make it, but AJ
Oh,
Allmendinger making
my
his way
God.
back towards the front.
Reddick back to 9th with Ryan Priest closing in.
Get a Priest. I don't care, Priest. Come on.
And
We need you up there to go battle.
Not able this time to take 9th away. Keeps nibbling away at it here.
Oh.
Yeah, when he says pull,
God.
pull right there, he wants you to pull that side draft. So that means get up next to that car as close as you
This is
can
not
to dump
fun.
all that air on the back spoiler.
Goodbye, goodbye, Sticky.
Well, we'll have to regrid and try again. 29 to go. Just outside
This
the
might
top
just be
10,
the battle
Dustin
here,
Haley,
because I
Zane
think
Smith,
Bowman's
Noah
got it.
Gragson, and Joey Logano, who has come back from being a lap down. Got the free pass last caution and has fought his way up
Here
to
comes Hamlin.
14th
Sticky.
place. Larson and Hamlin for 4th.
And then you end up wrecking Chastain somehow.
I was talking about the 5 and his long run speed, but I might be wrong here, Kevin. It's Hamlin's. Briscoe already went by him. Hamlin is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the 5 is as good this run as he has been in the previous runs throughout the race. So Denny Hamlin has been pretty even on the long runs with what the scenarios that we've had before. So we'll be able to find out if he's able to complete this pass.
Just look at the lap times alternate between them.
And over the last 5 laps, these 2 have been the 2 fastest cars on track, even as they battle side by side.
Briscoe, really good lap by him.
Yeah, and what happens when you battle side by side like this, you immediately just slow both of you down, but you know you can't give up the spot as you see Kyle Larson hold Denny Hamlin off. That's
Here
Chris
comes
Buescher right to
Buescher.
their back bumper.
Kyle looks loose to me, Kev.
Briscoe and Reddick right now, fastest cars on the track that lap, as Christopher Bell.
Yeah, we got past
who
him.
is one
Yeah!
that, makes a pit stop.
Well, we heard Reddick talk earlier about his car not taking off and how bad it was
losing
on a short run. So being the longest
I'm
run of the
losing
race,
it,
maybe he'll be
How are
able
we getting-
to make up some
how-
more ground
how?
than what
How?
he has in the runs earlier in the race.
Richard said,
Kinda
yeah, you know how
frustrating
that's
as
your
a
former
driver
teammate?
when
Yeah,
you come
fuck
to your
him.
favorite racetrack, you expect to go win, spend most of the day running 7th,
We're
8th,
not
9th,
doing
and
well right now.
sometimes that's more frustrating than going to your worst track and finishing 7th or 8th.
Let's take a look at our 9 most recent.
Said, yeah, you know
winners
that Kyle
on
Busch
mile
guy
and a
that
half
has 2
tracks.
championships racing
And
for us?
note
Yeah,
who
forget him.
is not
Forget him, bro.
amongst them. Or no,
Go get
these are
yourself
the
a
most recent winners at
championship.
Miami. And the names that are missing, how about Bowman, Wallace, and Briscoe? Your top 3 right now.
I'm watching Briscoe. He just said his name, and I'm watching his lap times, liking what I see. He's starting to run down Wallace, slipping back a little bit. Gonna have to pounce on him quick, though, running out of time. Bowman is laying some great lap times out front with the clean air.
The other interesting thing that has happened as you look at Alex Bowman here leading this race, and He's going through turns 3 and 4 right now, but as he gets to the other end of the racetrack, the shade has started to cover almost the whole corner. And when that shade starts to creep over the wall, you even see the shadows of the walls right there on this end of the racetrack. But when you see that shade like that, it really makes the grip level go up in all portions of the racetrack, and it makes that top line a little less dominant. I wonder if that's what has slowed Larson down a little bit, as all the rest of the lanes have become a little better. Through 1
We got
and 2.
past him, yay!
There you see from shade back into sunshine as you exit turn number 2 with Ryan Preece. Bubba Wallace and Alex Bowman have the 2 fastest laps of the race. Wallace is the quickest at 167 miles an hour. That's worth a championship point if it holds up for the rest of the day, and we think it will.
Oh, we just got the fastest lap. Yay! Hooray!
Next Sunday, let's go short track racing at one of NASCAR's most venerable tracks, Martinsville Speedway.
Martinsville, can't wait to watch
just
no
above the
passing.
Virginia, North Carolina line. Pre-race at 1:30 Eastern, green flag at 3, and you'll see it only on FS1.
Love that racetrack. Can't wait to get there. Can't wait to be home. We've been on the road a while, boys.
All right, we're listening in on Bubba Wallace.
We believe he will fall back to you. His tires are wear sooner than yours. Make sure you have something left to fight with. Yeah, all good.
Well, they both stopped at lap 213 for
Briscoe
fuel and
caught him.
tires.
Can't back up too much and give up, because you got Briscoe coming right on him from the rear, catching him.
And the other thing that happens when you're leading the race,
Clint
you have
Boyer.
clean air.
What?
And that is as important as anything that you
Clint,
can do, even
what
if
did
it's a
he
little
say?
balance shift or you lose a little bit of
I
time.
caught it. I heard it.
To the second place guy. They're going to get to a certain point, and then it's going to be even again.
20 laps to go.
They have definitely moved down on that racetrack, Kevin. You said it. You nailed it. All over the shade down in 1 and 2 is kind of migrated the whole pack down just a little bit.
Hey, Austin Dillon fell off. We don't got to fight him no more. Yay!
But every lap that we inch closer
Austin Dillon
to the
brought
end
his
of this
stuff up trying to
race
fight
is
us.
further than we've been. We're going to have to go further than we've been. And I still believe that's going to bring an advantage to Kyle Larson and that high line.
You
as
just
you
gained
get closer
3
and
tenths
closer
off.
to the end of this race. Now, what do the cars in the front do? Do they tank that last 8 to 10
Aaron
laps,
Jones,
or
right.
do they maintain this speed? So we don't really
Elliott,
know. The 23 is saying that maybe the 48 is going to fall back to him, but.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I agree with you. I think eventually these guys getting down to the closing laps, you know that 5 car is going to throw caution to the wind, much like he did in the Xfinity race and everything else. When he
remember
went
that
to the
speed
whip
that Austin
and put
Dillon
that
had?
thing
Yeah,
on
now he's
the board
trying to battle
and decided
Ryan
go
Preece
for it,
for
he
10th.
picked up. He was a second faster yesterday than they were.
9th place battle right there, down the front straightaway.
Get that
Ryan
fraud out of
Preece
here.
and Austin Dillon. Well, in case you missed it, we're inside of 20 to go here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Contact on pit road. Joey Logano, Austin Cindric there, and Christopher Bell, a harmless spin at lap 70. Put us under caution for the first time today. Larson, Berry, Logano, Hamlin, 4 wide on pit road. That did not work well right there. With Berry and Larson around, and Justin Haley held up. Ryan Blaney led the most laps, led 2/3 of the laps today until his engine let go. He and Carson Hocevar are the only cars out of the race right now.
Kevin, it's happening. Just like you said, 34.53 for Larson, 73 in front of him, 69 in front of him with Wallace, and an 87 on your leader. 53 is flying.
The only problem is he's got a car in front of him that's in the same lane. So his advantage to get there has been great. But now he's going to have to deal with Chase Briscoe being in that lane. So his best bet at this particular point is to have that 48 back up and back everybody into a corner to start a 4-car race.
It's a timing thing, and I think he did a great job of that yesterday watching the Xfinity race, of timing when to do that. Catch them getting into one, make a slide job, get in front of them.
And I do think you have more options in 1 and 2 now that the shade is there. If you can stay on their bumper off of turn 4 to have a little more grip than what you've had all day in those lower lanes.
That's 7/10 in 2 laps.
4 cars in the fight, and 2 of those last names begin with B. We might just continue that string.
Don't go anywhere. This is shaping up to be a great finish. I'm telling you, I'm excited about this. Bowman's got to go. He is the showman. He was the fastest car yesterday. Started on the pole. Can he get it done?
Fastest car that lap among that group was Kyle Larson. Now remember what happened.
There's the slide job I'm talking about, right? Caught him at the right time. That was a timing thing and a good job. That's exactly what we watched him do in the Xfinity race yesterday.
And may put Chase Briscoe in a better spot as Larson gets up there and has a chance to catch these leaders and get to mixing it up. That might drag Chase Briscoe back into this race. So we'll see if he can make it up.
14 laps to go. Remember what happened here last year, where the last 3 laps were led by 3 different drivers.
Yes.
And on the final lap, it was Ryan Blaney leaving the outside for Tyler Reddick, who ended up in victory lane, the 3rd different leader in the last 3 laps. Bowman picks it up, a 68 to Larson's 70, Briscoe's 52. Here's Bowman's radio.
You know, they let him need to know about Larson. He's ripping up there. Hopefully these guys check him up. I don't want to get him spun out yet. We'll see. Yeah, agreed.
You knew that was coming. He got up there on them boards, starts catching them. You knew they were going to start chattering, telling them what they're doing.
Yeah, in that lap, he was 0.3 better than both cars in front of him now that he was able to not have to make a pass and had a clean lap. So it's all going to come down to the timing of these passes and how long it takes him to get by the 23 car.
Well, it's happening. Get on your feet. Can he make this happen? Go, Cat, go. Run as hard as you can, Bowman. Got to stay poised in that car, though, Kevin. Don't move out of your line. Don't lose your momentum, your focus.
Well, that's good news for Larson right there. The first half of the corner he spent with clean air in front of him. Bubba slid up there the second half of the corner, but that's not going to break the momentum of the 5.
He's there. Does he go for it here in 3 and 4? Yep, here he goes. Be a slide job.
I was going to say, did you really ask that if he was going to go? Have you ever seen him not go?
11 to go, coming to 10 to go. It's time to go.
That's the question that answered itself.
After that frustration yesterday, this kid wants it. We talked to him in the pre-race. You could tell. It bothered him, made him mad.
Kyle Larson won the truck race handily, was leading yesterday's Xfinity race, and on a restart, Sam Mayer got in the back of him, lifted the rear wheels off the ground, and Larson couldn't go. It cost him the win, but here he is.
Yeah, this run is playing right into his hands, being the longest run of the race, and being longer plays more into what he does inside the car.
It's going to force Alex to move up and change his line a little bit. I think it's very important to not lose focus of what you're doing. See, he's moved up on the outside.
Man, if I would have started Allmendinger, I would have 6, 7, 8. Now I'm 6,
Don't get into that
8.
wall and beat yourself. Hand this thing to him.
Well, Rick Hendrick has always said, we're not a 4-car team. We're one team with 4 cars and 4 individual drivers who are each out to get the best result for themselves. No team orders at Team Hendrick.
There's 18. We're in the fence again. Doesn't matter. Go for it.
9 to go. Coming to 8. .6 of a second, and Larson was 1/10 quicker that lap.
That's a lot better than it's been. Bowman's did a great job that lap, answering a call, moved up in 1 and 2, Kevin.
And a lot of times when you move up like that and you've been running somewhere else on the racetrack, you take the risk of losing a big chunk of time, but he definitely lost a little bit on this lap.
At this rate, Larson will catch him with 2 to go.
I think
then what?
I think it's going to be before that, Mike.
Okay. He's already there. He's going to start getting a toe from him as well down the straightaways, but it's going to be more of a challenge in the center of the corner as well. See, he's in a fence again right behind him. He's starting to get into that wake. That's going to make that more of a challenge. This is not going to be a slam dunk, and Bowman is not going to go away easy.
The inevitable.
Don't hand it to him, though. If you're Alex Bowman, have to stay poised in the car. Be disciplined. Do not getting that fence.
And he already made the right move of putting this. Oh, now he's in the fence.
There it is. Watch it. Oh, he's in it hard, too.
Pull off of it, pull off of it.
And here comes Larson.
Got it.
And Kyle Larson takes the lead.
And that's exactly what we were talking about, Clint. Don't make that mistake. And when you haven't run that lane all day and you have to step up and try to do what Kyle Larson is doing, it puts so much pressure on the drivers because he does it. He does that 2 inches from the wall and can do it lap after lap after lap.
Jeff Gordon's reaction?
We're a little behind, DJ.
What do you do there?
Well,
you're going to win.
I think.
Maybe like
I think he wants to win, but I think he
challenging
knows.
situation.
I think he knows how important it is to get that 48 car to victory lane. Both of these guys, whoever wins, is going to win their first race of the season, obviously. But I still believe that Jeff knows it's important to see his cars race, and he knows how important it is to get both of them to victory lane. One's got the boss's name on the side of it with HendrickCars.com, and you've got Ally, who's been such a huge supporter of Hendrick Motorsports, and Bowman has been through so much, and so there's big differences in what would be important to either car winning. So either way, he wins.
Well, that's exactly right.
Bowman
Good
just
scenario
screwed
to
his
be in,
entire
but
chances
don't
of
give
winning
up on
this
it.
race.
How about the 5 went back down to the bottom, forced 48 down lower as well.
4 to go. Hendrick Chevy's 1-2. Toyota's 3-4-5. Wallace,
Hey, it's the
Briscoe, and
pencil
Hamlin.
himself,
First Ford is Butcher in
Nathaniel.
6th.
You cannot stress enough
the mechanical
how
pencil.
close they are to the wall. That 5 has been in it too. He can. That same thing can happen to the 5 and hand it right back.
Hey, you're welcome for this race. We were doing cheeks. We had to
There he
battle
is.
Austin
He's in the fence
Dillon
again.
for
That'd be
20
19.
laps.
Here's Bowman's radio.
Relax.
Get that momentum back on him. Let's go. Want it back off, you think? Yeah, man. Get that momentum. Get his ass.
It's never over.
Here comes Bowman.
We saw that last night in the Xfinity race. We saw it in the truck race on Friday night. These races are never over. We've seen it time after time. So it just takes one mistake. Keep yourself close if you're Alex Bowman.
I think the 5 got in a fence again, getting into 3.
I don't think he cares at this point. I think it's different when he hits the fence. A lot of times he can keep the right rear just hitting the fence, and it doesn't grab the front. And you saw when Alex hit the fence, it just sucked the whole car in. But Kyle has a great way of being able to bounce that right rear off the wall and keep that front from grabbing.
See, don't show us the stream.
Kyle Larson usually dominates, leads all the laps, and has something happen. Get it around here to the white flag. A race is official. 11 times he's been here and only won once. That tells you how hard it is to ride this wall for 267 laps.
White flag here. One more good one.
Well, Kyle
Flag
Larson,
for Larson, who's only led 18 laps today.
yeah, I mean, he's flat out the best at riding the wall. We would consider him the best at this particular racetrack, and all weekend he has put on display exactly what we think with his talents.
Oh,
Kyle Larson about to become the 3rd winningest driver for Hendrick Motorsports, behind Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. 2/3 of the clean sweep for the weekend, and coming around turn 4 for his 30th career win, Kyle Larson for Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet wins in Homestead.
That's a big win for him.
P8.
Good run for
Could've
Alex
done- we
Bowman.
did what we could.
It's a heartbreaker. Did a great job. Great weekend. Good turnaround for Chase Briscoe at 19. But you can't keep a good man down. This man owns this racetrack, Kevin.
Always fun to win at a racetrack that you're supposed to win at. And as you said earlier, he definitely didn't go out and dominate today. We expected Tyler Reddick and him to go dominate this race, and neither one of those things happened. It was Ryan Blaney most of the day, but when the money was on the line at the end of the race, Kyle Larson's going to be in victory lane.
Great run by Bubba Wallace as well.
Well,
was solid all weekend long. AJ
we passed the
Allmendinger in
torch for the
7th,
best
and
driver
then
over to
Buscher as
you.
well.
Yeah, Briscoe right there in 4th as well. They needed
We
a
won it
solid
last
day
year.
like
You
that
guys
to
get it this year.
Get the ship back.
We
righted,
expect
but,
to have that torch back next year, by the way.
Allmendinger is going to take sole possession of the best average finish at Homestead list. Reddick 8th, Ryan Preece 9th, 2 straight top 10s for Preece, and Justin Haley with a top 10.
finished
I
10th.
want to see the right side of this car again. There can't be much left of it.
It's the 14th win for Larson in the 7th generation Cup car, most of all drivers.
It's Dawson. It's Dawson.
Got to get down there in that paint. It makes
Changes
for,
color, doesn't
makes
it?
for some pretty smoke.
4 caution flags slowed the race. 9 different leaders. 27 lead changes. As we remain close to a record, 6 races into the season.
Didn't get a sweep, but a good
Oh, who
weekend.
wrecked?
Truck Series win. Xfinity come up a little short in a heartbreaker. Took care of business
Hello?
today.
And by the way, at Bristol, Kyle Larson's running all 3 races again.
I think he's after
died?
Busch in
Hello?
that sweep. That's not easy. These guys are hot, Kevin. Hot day today. Long runs.
Boy, Alex Bowman drove a great race. Started on the pole, was competitive all day, as was Bubba Wallace. Wallace led the second most laps
I thought they were
today,
about to fight.
56 of them.
I don't know. He kind of like shoved him a little bit. I don't know.
Not done yet. Can't be much tire left.
Well, what was left is now going to be at the start-finish line.
You're good. There you go.
Oh, there goes the tire.
I shredded one of those rears.
Look at the right
That'll
rear
do
of
it.
that car.
I know he's gonna get that die cast.
Wow.
But having the confidence to do that, Clint, is just, he's at another level with that because
That
he's
is
just
true.
not scared of it.
It ain't just confidence, though, the ability to do it. You said it. When he hits it, it's just different. Bowman got into it, and it stuck, just stuck him in there like Velcro.
Bowman's
When he
soul,
does it, he's
Bowman's
able to keep the momentum and keep the right front out of the wall.
He ate, I guess.
The 4th different winner of 2020.
Hey, he broke the B streak. Bile Larson.
From Elk Grove, California, 32-year-old has his
Bile
30th
Larson.
career victory. Regan?
Well, Kyle Larson gets the helmet off and takes a deep breath, Kyle. You've dominated a lot of races here at Homestead. This one looked a little bit different today, though. You had to earn it at the end there. Didn't dominate it, got a long run. How were you able to put it on the boards and make it so perfect that last run?
It was far from perfect. I gave up a spot and a half, almost 2 spots there by getting in the wall too many times. I knew I wasn't going to get the best restart there. I knew I wasn't good on the short runs, and just thought if I could hold off the 11 and the 45 behind me, I could get ring in the top and the 19 too, and then I got in the wall and let him by. But just kind of had to keep plugging away at what I know
Bowman,
and
I think, is gold.
what's good for me. So just proud of myself, proud of the team. Just a lot of gritty, hard work there today between damage on pit road, qualifying bad restarts, all that stuff. So
I need to-
just super pumped.
when are we gonna get our
one
first
of
win this
the coolest wins I think in my Cup career, just because of all the heartbreak I've had here, the heartbreak yesterday, and to just keep my head down and keep digging feels really good.
You mentioned all the heartbreak yesterday and different races here. As you get the lead there with roughly about 10 to go, what are you thinking? Are you just thinking no caution right now?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking every time I'm in the lead, especially
Kyle
here
said
at
once he
Homestead.
gets
So
into trucks, he's gonna
yeah,
race
just
for the part time and then he's gonna
crazy.
retire.
I knew me coming towards those guys. They were going to start,
what?
moving around and making mistakes. And I felt like if I could just keep pressure on Alex, I would hope that he made a mistake. And he caught the wall there, and I got by him easier than I expected to. And still had to work hard though. My balance once I got in clean air was really loose, just like those guys were. So hats off to the whole team, HendrickCars.com, Chevrolet, Prime, Valvoline, the whole Hendrick Engine Shop, everybody involved, Hendrick Automotive Group.
That is now
lots of Hendricks.
5 wins.
So shout out to Daryl Jackson too. I think you said you're going to owe us a bottle of Pappy. So we'll go ahead and take
Yes.
that.
Byron, Bell,
right here.
Avery for
Congratulations.
Avery, and then Larson.
And Alex Bowman ends up leading 43 laps, and you were the leader until 7 to go. Alex, was it getting into the wall a little extra that did you in, or was there more to it?
Recovery for
Yeah,
Byron.
I guess I choked that one away for sure. Just kind of burnt my stuff up. Saw the 5 coming, so moved around a little bit. And not when he passed me, but the time before that, I hit it pretty hard with the right front and ended up just bending something enough that I lost a lot of right front feel.
Well, I thought Blaney was gonna have a good-
and then
I thought
pulled
Blaney
it
was
off
gonna
the
have
wall
a good day.
Too far right there, and
I thought he was gonna have a good
I'm
season.
hitting the fence pretty bad. So, man, I hate that for
Oh,
this
and then
Ally
Briscoe
48.
passes
They
by, that would've
deserve
been
better than that, and,
hilarious.
just a couple mistakes there. felt like we were okay all day. That last run was probably the best we were, but hats off to Ally and Blake and everybody for supporting this 48 team. Hate it for Mr. Hendrick. Congrats to Kyle, and we'll go try to get another one this week.
All right, Alex Bowman gets his best finish of the year. He brings it home second, Mike.
Well, all of the top 4 drivers in today's race had their best ever Miami finish. Yeah, Larson, Bowman, Wallace, and Briscoe each scored a personal best here. An entertaining race.
Yeah, it was entertaining for sure. And Kyle Larson did
yeah.
exactly what we thought
Mike.
he would do in winning, but he didn't dominate. He had a couple guys behind him with Alex Bowman having a chance to win, Bubba Wallace right there at the end, and another heartbreak for Ryan Blaney.
Yes, obviously Blaney leading all the laps and you know, doing the job that he was doing and not getting the results big. But I want to go back to Bowman. You didn't do anything wrong, man. That guy is special around this track. We all know that. We've seen the laps that he runs
Well, congratulations.
here.
You
The
could
uniqueness
now
of
be
his
on the
ability to be able
wallpaper
to
for the
run on the outside like that. That's a tall order to hold him off. I know that's frustrating because you feel like you gave it to him, but hell of a job out of that 48 car. That car was fast all weekend long, sitting on the pole and finishing second. Not too shabby.
And it's what makes Kyle Larson dangerous, because he runs that high groove the whole race, and then you try to pop up there and do that, and it becomes difficult to do. You're not in a rhythm. You're not up next to the wall like that all day, and boom, you make a mistake.
All right, let's join Jamie with Bubba Wallace.
Well, Bubba Wallace led 56 laps today, and he finishes third. I know it's not a win, Bubba, but you guys just needed to close the deal and finish the race as strong as you ran in the first 2 stages. How good was this one?
Oh, it was really good.
nice
I
hat.
mean, we showed up here in Miami and had speed. And that's the first
And
box
it's
you want to
23
check. We all
level on it. I
know when
might
you're a race
buy
car
it.
driver, you want to show up and be competitive. And we were that. We fired off in the race and just okay. And it really made me think of, you know, our balance is very similar to what we've had the last 2 years, and we've just been average. And so I was just praying
Bubba's
for
been
track
good at the
position.
track the last couple years.
My pit crew has been on fire. Tremendous amount of work has gone in the last 5 years of this team to get to where we're at. We're not where we want to be, but we are damn sure competitive each and every stop. And they got us up there, gave me a shot, and our Columbia Toyota Camry was just game changer. So got out front, and I didn't think I burned my stuff up. To start that last run, I thought it was very similar to the previous restart. But I don't know. I need to go back and study and look at what happened. Obviously, not hit the fence and allow the 48 to get there. But all in all, hats off to my 23 group here. It's been a grind all year long. I'm talking like we've 20 races in. It's only 5, whatever it is. We just been getting kicked in the teeth last stage of every race. So finally closed one out.
on the up and up. Besides Riley
this
Hurts.
feels good.
Let's go.
I can't even hang my head over this. As pissed off as I want to be at myself, it's a good day. Awesome
Well done.
weekend. Thank you.
Let's go over to Chris Myers.
Hey, thank you very much. At a place where champions have been crowned.
We were
here
here
in
1
Miami,
year
a
ago.
champion of 2021 with his first win of this season, the 6th race of the season with Jamie McMurray. The burning rubber, you all right?
Yeah, well, we found a piece.
So is this, you almost got, that was quite a celebration. They've set up the stage behind. You see the deserving pit crew and the Hendrick. Look at the
confetti's getting ready to come out. It's
look
the
at the
best
side
part.
of that
I have
car.
Griffin.
HendrickCars.com, but you can see the scrape again. He handled the wall enough to pull off the victory. Viewed by many as the best current all-around skilled driver. And I know he feels like he should have won more races here in Miami. I think there are people that expect more championships from Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the best driver at this track for sure. Coming into this weekend, had led 30% of the laps he had run at this track. We talked about it in the pre-race show. He kind of had a love-hate relationship because he's dominated a tremendous amount of races at this track, but had only won once here in the Cup Series. And as I think about his weekend, he won the truck race, but didn't have the best truck. He won today, but didn't dominate the race. He did dominate the Xfinity Series race and wasn't able to get to victory lane. But the race played out into Kyle Larson's hand. I mean, he was so good. The longer the runs would go on. Fortunately, they got the longest run of the day. And I was heartbroken for Alex Bowman. He did such a good job, set on the pole, and really wasn't a conversation of did he have a shot to win.
All
He
right,
didn't think he had a good
so
car
I'm
in
not
practice.
winning next
But
week
then when
either.
you see
That's
him in the race,
Martinsville.
he put it all together. It was so close for him.
Yeah, Kyle Larson was the favorite coming into this race, and it was interesting because this was a different kind of. He showed a lot of patience. It was almost like a, I would just say, kind of waiting to make his move once he had the speed. Obviously, getting past his teammate with 7 laps to go, and Bowman, who you mentioned, so a very calculated kind of victory for him. He was as far back as 22nd after starting on row 7. Yep. I think now we're going to check in as the celebration continues with Regan Smith. Regan?
Well, Chase Briscoe matches his best career finish at
Hi,
Joe Gibbs
Briscoe.
Racing. That best career
Look at
finish
that
with a 4th
ass,
place
bro.
today, same as Daytona 500. eventful race for you to start fourth, finish fourth. I think that's a pretty good day.
Yeah, it definitely, starting fourth, finishing fourth, it's not the whole story. We were up and down kind of all day long with pit stops and
I'm telling you, Briscoe's getting
brake
the win this
issues,
year.
tire vibrations.
Briscoe is
So
really gonna win.
yeah, it was honestly just what we needed as our race team. So
Briscoe's gonna get a win this
to
year.
come out with a top 5, we can finally kind of build on this. Felt like we've had good speed all year. We just haven't been able to
Straight
kind of show
talk
that.
400
so yeah,
bucket
just
hats.
appreciate Johnny Morris, everybody at Bass Pro Shops, Joe Gibbs Racing. It's fun to kind of be up in the front all day long and to kind of show what I feel like I'm capable of.
It's
So
forget
looking
really
forward
big
to the next
hat.
couple
It's
weeks.
about
There are a lot of
Larson
really good
bucket
racetracks, I
hat.
feel like, for us as a team and even
Larson
myself. So yeah. The 5 car definitely was the best car today, anyone. So just congrats to them, and yeah, fun day for sure. It's always fun here, slipping, sliding around. So yeah, go on to next week.
All right, nice job, Chris.
All right, thank you very much. The Stage 1 winner was Ryan Blaney. Boy, another DNF for Blaney. It's the third
we get
straight. That's the
Larson
first time
wearing
that's
it?
happened in his career.
Yeah, and I think we got to
Larson
talk about
wearing
Briscoe
the
just real
bucket
quick. We
hat.
had him in our pre-race show. We felt like he was going to have a really good run today. And Chris, as we look at his season, he had been involved in accidents in 4 of the 5 races. The other race, he had a wheel fall off. So it was nice to
Hi,
see
Jeff.
the 19 team be able to put together an entire weekend.
Yeah, and that was part of. There's only so much a driver can do, and that's how Ryan Blaney, when he spoke to Jamie Little afterwards, too, losing the engine. Then Denny Hamlin getting stage 2, and then you mentioned after that when we came in and showed the highlights that the Hendrick cars could see they were making their move, whether it was Bowman or Larson, and it was a big win for Kyle Larson, the 30th of his career, and 30 races to go.